Man, he's really good.
And now I feel so bad.
Yeah, me too.
So far, so good, Seb. Oh my God. Yes! Oh, you saw the arms at the end? This view, man. Look at this fucking view.
Yeah, crazy.
Pull it back here, that's it. Just wait till it stops, and that's it.
Have you seen Tobias?
No.
Just protect him a little bit.
Sunscreen?
So, yeah, so he doesn't burn too much.
Wait, I can't tell. My rod's like vibrating.
We're in business, guys. Oh, he's strong.
It's really
Oh, he's strong. And he's, oh no, he's not. Oh, he took the whole thing with him. Fuck.
That's why we play support. Because when it matters, we cannot count on you.
Okay, gentlemen, why haven't you caught a fish?
I'm not sure, man.
People didn't think we were gonna qualify for TI. We were left without a team 2 weeks before the qualifier starts. Everything with how it happened and what happened, it was so atypical. It was so not normal.
I mean, atypical is being nice.
Yeah, atypical is putting the best word, the nicest words to it.
Probably when we got to the finals, I was much happier than after we won.
Wow, really?
Yeah. As soon as we won, then it started going down, rather than the opposite.
I had like complete euphoria after we won.
And I was terrified after we won, actually. I was actually terrified.
Oh, we got fish.
Where? Fish?
Oh, yours, yeah. I'm in.
Oh, shit.
Just need some epic action movie music and that's it.
Wine. Oh, that's a good one.
Excuse me.
Don't touch him, he's got spikes.
This is a big one.
I think it's around 13, 14.
Closer to 20, I think.
And then the next shot, we're cooking.
To Australia,
and everything else.
Should I just drink from this?
Yep. No,
Cheers.
look at what we got.
Wow.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Things escalated really quickly for these fish.
Now, huh? It is very good.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is. I still think it's so unfair that an unranked carry player wins TI.
Sorry. Wasn't intentional.
Missed up, actually. But did you at one point realize that you won TI? Like, they ever?
That this might change something going further, or might not.
What does it change though?
I don't know. It might not change anything.
You didn't feel like playing Dota after? Didn't that change, you know?
Yeah, but
It was kind of the
I
same.
also had that feeling beforehand already though.
Yeah.
And when I was like grinding Dota so much, I was such an angry person.
Frustrated?
Yeah. Oh, it's the worst, man.
Yeah. I'm worried about becoming weaker because of it. If I have to speak the truth, yeah.
Why should you become weaker from doing this once? You can stamp it again.
Because you're satisfied with yourself.
Because you're satisfied.
So you're weak now. You had this infinite source of motivation. Now it's not there anymore, you know?
But the way I see it is that it's still there. You just chose to let it go.
So flame me a little bit, man.
I'm working on it. Every day I'm waking up to flame you.
Fucking bad.
Fucking bad.
Yeah, that's what I want to hear, man. To me, it's always been win or die, you know? Win or zero. I hate losing games.
Is winning enough? Like, even if you won, like, are you truly on the level that you want
No.
to be?
No, you're not.
No, I think that's my dilemma. Is I think that there is more, and I want to be better. And this win is not enough.
What are you looking forward to, Jesse?
Next year?
Yeah?
I don't know, minor. Started simple.
Yeah.
Just the minors. All the minors.
I'm gonna make sure we can't qualify the major.
I just want to play. I want to play really good Dota. And I want to play free.
I'm excited for the chat wheels.
One day.
Is there one in particular you're waiting for?
Please give some luck out.
Black Cat Matatak.
Like Matatak coming
I've
back?
been missing it, man. I felt naked.
I've been sending him emails every day. Gabe Newell.
From Black Cat Matatak.
Matatak. Yours sincerely, Normaline.
Fantastic. Good look behind the scenes in what happens when OG go on vacation. They're very philosophical Cap in many ways, talking about the future and how to come back from a win, and Mad getting all like, you know, I'm on a downer now.
Oh,
I don't
yeah.
know.
This is how they managed to win TI in the first place, right? Was sort of that philosophical, smart approach that they took to Dota and being able to just talk through their feelings with each other. And that kind of built that camaraderie that they really needed in that desperate spot that they were.
Did. Grant, do you want to do that? Do you want to share that with the? Should we do this with the panel? Should we see if we can get our panel up to the kind of OG levels?
No, I think I'm pretty good. You know, I'm good just being
Can I be
myself.
no tail and you be mad?
Yeah,
You suck, Grant.
Thank you.
Saved by the Horde at the start of the day. Let's start off with our two teams. Yeah.
You suck, Grant.
Thank you.
Saved by the Horde at the start of the day. Let's start off with our two teams. Our first team into the Mercedes-Benz Arena for day number 2 of the main event in the upper bracket, no less, are a team that perhaps not many expected to be in this position, but that's exactly where they are, 12 months on from being exactly in the same place against the same team. Team NEWBEE this time round, the colours and the name may have changed, but the team are very much still a competitive force. They had a fantastic group stage and find themselves now just one match away from a top 6 finish at the International. They will get themselves set in their booth, and we will welcome their opponents for game number 1. The defending champions of the International 2018. No one would have had that last year. They came from absolutely nowhere, from the open qualifiers, no less, to become the first ever team to do so as champions. They return this year with what seems like a renewed version of the same spirit that took them to the ages 12 months ago. Can they be the first team ever to repeat? Can they be the first team to win twice? Can these players be the first to win 2 ages? All of these questions are still to be answered over the next 5 days. And it starts right now in the upper bracket quarterfinals as they face off against NEWBEE. Gents, it is kind of a rematch. The majority of the players on the NEWBEE side obviously played in exactly this spot last year. Could it be any different, Brian?
I just think OG's got the magic. I don't know. I watched them throughout the entire group stage, and we've talked about teams just doing their own thing, establishing their own meta. Yep. And OG's picking carry wisp. They're just doing all types of random strategies where, as casters during the group stage, we were trying to figure out ourselves, what are they going to do? And then you just watch it all fall right into place, and it's honestly beautiful to watch. But I think NEWBEE's got a great chance in order to upset them. I think they're one of the best teams coming into the group stage, or coming out of the group stage that isn't the top seeds. And I'm really looking forward to this series because I think NEWBEE can maybe the entire take OG stage by surprise. I think these players are very interesting.
I mean, Brian makes a great point that they were the surprise of the groups for many people, NEWBEE.
Yeah, they were. I thought they played very standard, right? It was a lot like last year. Like going into it, they were VGJ Storm, 3 of them, and they went in and they just looked good. They didn't do anything flashy. They got a top 8, and it looks like they're poised to do that again. Like they're flying very far under the radar, of everyone, it feels like.
And just look at their position. Their captain's in the first time that he's not going to go out last place at TI. I'm sure Pyjamas is super hyped about that. And I think the team is hyped to be able to have him. I mean, just think about their last year. Very disappointing. They stuck it out with the SVG, even though they had some problems, and the TI performance just wasn't there. This year, they switched things around multiple times, even picking up Kit Track momentarily as a coach before finally settling on Pyjamas. Sort of last minute in the grand scope of things for TI. But it seems to be clicking at just the right moment.
Yeah.
Sorry.
No, I was going to say, this is a guy who, I think back to 4 years ago, we were talking about as being an MVP in this very city, in that actual fact, at that major. It doesn't seem to have had the career projection that we might have thought he might have had after that tournament.
No, he didn't. But now that he's having a good one, right? It just took him moving to NA. You know, sometimes that's all you got to do. Just move to the, you know, the greatest region, and you start having a little more success.
USC is just a great training ground for any professional player if they want to do well. Just look at Sumail.
Okay. I'm not going to bite. There's too many Americans on the panel right now. I'm not going to go there. I'm not going to fight against you.
You got
greatest region.
SNA right here.
Yep. I like that, yeah. Don't chant it too much here, though. It doesn't go down too well. Do you know what? When we talk about OG, we talked about how they played in the group stages, and, you know, they've got this cool kind of persona going on, and they don't really care, and they're flipping coins for who they play, and all that kind of cool stuff. But when it comes down to it, have they got the form? Have they got the players to repeat this year?
I think so. We talked about how creative their drafts were, but they executed it to near perfection. That was the thing for me that surprised me, is you have to know exactly the timings that line up. They had heroes that hit the core items all at the exact same time every game. And to know how to do that with a strategy of what we seem to be like random heroes that don't normally get picked together, right?
From our point of view, even like, you know, I've heard all of the smart analysts that we have in this group of talent team, and they're all a little bit like, I'm not really sure what they're doing.
When nobody understands them, I think that's when they're peak form. Because if they as long as they understand themselves, which they clearly do.
There's some odd. I pour over the stats, as you well know, and there's some odd stats in amongst this. They're the lowest. They're the 18th ranked team for average last hits per game. Like, what? How?
Yeah.
Like, how is that possible?
That's a team that just wants to be able to fight. You know, like, to kind of contradict Brian just a little bit, it's just the fact that, you know, I feel the same way that he feels about OG, I felt that way about Liquid. You know, and the old, like, they won TI, I thought that was going to be our repeat.
Right.
You know, because it just seemed like they had this sort of magic. I mean, the stories about, like, Kuro winning that TI, getting into the bus with the rest of his team and saying, hey, let's talk about the plan for next year.
Yeah.
You know, that kind of drive, I thought that was what it was going to take to be able to win a TI. And so for me, looking at OG, I see all these magical things, but there's this doubt in my head that says, I don't know, just like Seb is saying, you know, that drive, once you win a TI, it goes away a little bit. Like, no matter how bad you think you want a number 2.
just wants to win a minor. He's not worried. That's what his goals are this season, and he's failed.
Yep, they played plenty of those minors this season. They really did. I mean, they struggled at the beginning, right, when they were using ILTW, and then guess what? The king of being uncalibrated comes back.
The comeback king. Yep, literally the comeback king every time, because he's done it every season, it feels like. What do NEWBEE have to do in this game, Brian, if they're going to take out OG?
I think NEWBEE is really good at what they know. Last year we saw the same thing kind of out of VGJ Storm. They had these set amount of strategies where they executed them very well. And I feel like if they're able to get those core set of heroes, I really like Quinn. I think Quinn's one of the most improved players I've watched all throughout the year. And his ability, last year I think was his limiting factor was his ability to lane mid. And I haven't seen him lose mid in a long time. Maybe he doesn't always win because he doesn't have the most favorable matchup.
But he doesn't get sacked, does he?
Yeah, and I think this is an incredible skilled matchup between Topson and CCNC, and I think if he can create momentum for his team, I think NEWBEE can take it. I think they know how to execute cleanly.
I mean, likewise, Cap, in a way, they kind of mirror each other a little bit in that respect, don't they? Yuar's been playing absolutely fantastically. He topped some of the stats from the group stage, obviously, and playing really well. You can argue some of that's hero-based as well, but he's playing really well. CNC is fantastic as well, although he still needs to add an S to the start of his name to fit in with the whole NEWBEE thing, because otherwise it's just weird. I don't know why he didn't do that, by the way, just for this event. It would have been fun. But Anna and Topson, same thing on the other side. It's very focused for OG. You can look into everything they've done so far, and you can see that they're still the main boys. They're playing around them.
For me, the backbone of OG is just stronger, though. In the fact that I've seen Topson lose lanes really hard and be able to make the comeback. I'm not sure if CCNC has that same kind of spirit. So for me, I think he really needs to be able to win that mid matchup, walk away with a strong lane, and just snowball from there. Similarly, Yuar has had such great numbers, right? In part because he's always had strong lanes, and he pretty much almost never dies in a game. But what happens if OG tries to put some aggression on him, tries to actually force out some mistakes from Yuar, put him under that gun, and make it so he has that bad game, in which case Snake King, he'll have to step up, but that's what he does best. He's been carrying this squad throughout the year.
I mean, I go back every time, like every year, people are like, who's your top player? Like, who do you think the best player in the world is? And everyone thinks I'm going to say Sumail, and I always say it's Snake King. I watched the dude play a Naga Siren before there was backpacks, before you had any of that, and he was playing a 9-slotted Naga, like in a super high-pressure, like, qualifier game. And Snake King is just an absolute monster.
For me, like, I remember watching Wings before TI6, and I had Faith Beyond. I put right next to his name, best offlaner, question mark. I did the same thing this year with Snake King. I said top 3. It seems like it. Like, from his position, he's a monster.
I'm sensing some NA bias.
What? I just said the OG backbone was stronger. Come on, Paul. Fair and balanced here on the NA panel, okay?
Brian was kind of like, oh, do I go in as well?
Yeah. Do I
mean,
join the
joking
bandwagon?
aside, he's had a fantastic tournament as well.
Oh, absolutely. I'm just concerned whether or not they're going to be able to keep up with the pace that OG sets. OG, what they've done all tournament is they kind of passively chill for about 15 minutes, and then suddenly, like that, it's on,
well,
right?
Yeah.
And I don't know if they're going to be ready for that. Maybe you can watch replays, you can study them, and you can know what the timings are, but in the middle of a game, it's just so hard to adjust to that as it's happening.
I've heard a few criticisms from fans who are a little bit skeptical about this NEWBEE side. They don't think maybe they're the real deal. They watch some of the group games, and the criticism, if they have any right now, is that they're a little bit too dependent on a specific pool of heroes right now, which OG could easily just ban out, and then that kind of ruins their game. Do you go along with that?
Yeah, I think when you know more heroes, you're able to pick the perfect hero for the game rather than the hero that you feel the most comfortable with. And OG's ability to just kind of plug in any hero to their strategy is probably their biggest advantage going into the series.
And also NEWBEE's downfall potentially here as well. I mean, we don't know because we don't necessarily know whether we've seen everything that they've got, or maybe they haven't showed everything they've got. Maybe they've got 2 or 3 other things that they can show us.
You know, I was just listening to an interview with Zai, and something he said was, I thought, really interesting. He said the most important day of TI is that break day between groups and main stage. Because he said that's where you're going to figure out exactly what you want to do for the rest of the tournament. That's where you're going to figure out exactly what the meta is and how it applies to your team.
Okay. All right. Good stuff. Thank you very much, gents. I think we're all looking forward to the start of this one. It's not too far away, ladies and gentlemen. Our draft for Game 1 is about to begin.
OG versus NEWBEE. Game 1.
For the second year in a row, OG starts their TI main event playing up against Yawar, Snaking, and MSS, this time under the NEWBEE banner. I'm joined here by Kezu and Gunnar, 2 guys, no strangers to competing on the major stage. These 2 teams, very, very different stylistically. OG, shortest average match duration in the tournament, under 35 minutes. They're the only team. NEWBEE, second longest at 46. Big picture first, how do you think these teams are approaching this draft? What are sort of the big differences that we're looking for going in?
OG kind of likes to pick an harder carry, and same with NEWBEE. So I think both of them are going to later pick Yawar's hero and Anna's hero respectively. And also Snaking also likes kind of lane winners. Like he picks his axe and then he'll lane, and he'll win the lane for his team. He kind of plays this like kind of carry from the off lane. They kind of focus more on 3 cores instead of 2. Some teams will play more on only mid and carry. Some go like 4, like TNC. They'll have 4 cores. I think this is a nice 3-core team from the side of NEWBEE.
Yeah, I think OG, they play so aggressive so that you kind of have to adjust to what they're doing. Like if you draft greedy against them, I think you're going to lose.
Yeah.
So I hope that NEWBEE, they do play greedy sometimes with some more late game-ish heroes. So I hope that if they do that, that they at least compensate with the other 4. So that they can match their tempo in like the early and mid game.
Yeah, Paul brought up that stat about OG being the lowest average last hits per game. That's because of the match duration.
Yeah.
They're also the highest average team kills per game, despite that match duration. These guys are so good at identifying key early kill lanes. Do you agree with the point that Cap made about worrying about whether Yawar in particular is going to be able to sustain that lane pressure?
I'm a little worried. They picked him AM in the group stage, and that hero had kind of low success. NEWBEE, they won with the AM, like 2 times I saw it. But most other teams lost a lot because he doesn't do well against early lane pressure. And since OG kind of plays these like fast early game, I'd be a little scared if NEWBEE picks this more like AM, maybe even a morphing type of hero that doesn't really lane well.
Yeah, I just think, like I said before, I think you need to be ready when you play against OG. And it's either by helping your lanes or understanding, okay, we may have to sack this lane and go elsewhere. Because if you go there and you give them these kills in these situations because you respond wrongly, you're going to give them such a big lead and they will keep running at you like dogs the whole game. And you will keep feeding. You need to be ready.
Yeah, absolutely. If there is one constant about OG, they have first picked the Enchantress every time it has been available, every time it's gotten through the bans in every single match at TI. And in fact, that hero has been, it's the only one, it's been first phase banned in over 2/3 of our draft. Is that kind of your highest value hero right now, or do you have a couple others that you'd put up there?
Yeah, I think it's a high value hero. We saw in the Infamous series yesterday, it was open and they insta took it for Whisper. And you know, and here I think that they're probably going to first pick it as well. It's a strong laner. Like we said, we want him to have a good lane.
Right.
So if OG picks this Enchantress, who is going to have a good lane almost no matter what, it's a little scary for NEWBEE at that point. So I think they're probably going to ban it in the first 3.
The hero, it just applies so much pressure, and like you need to nearly always try lane the hero, or it will free farm, like no matter what. You have some good responses with heroes that can maybe push out the wave and then go jungle or whatever, but I don't know if you want to give this type of hero to OG, because it kind of just speeds up their tempo like really hard in the game.
Yeah, I agree. I want to go back earlier to something that the panel was talking about as well. This mid matchup, I think, is going to be so big in this series. Gunnar in particular, you know CNZ pretty well, having played against him in the North American scene. Is this guy going to be able to stand in lane against Thompson, who just showed up at TI last year, and it's like people didn't know what to do against him mid?
Yeah, I think so. Like watching him, like playing with him against him, you know, over the past year, he's improved like a lot since I think it was Grant said. His laning, you know, was kind of, it was good, but now it's great, I think. So his laning's much better. His confidence, I think, is improved a lot over the last year. He'll pick these heroes like Ember, and he fully trusts himself, and he trusts his team now to just go in, which is, I think, a little different from last year. I think last year he kind of was a little more laid back. He was trying to make sure, you know, he wanted to play Dota, and now he wants to win Dota.
And Kezu, I want you to talk about playing against OG in particular from your position, from the support and the off-lane position. These guys are so active around the map. They're so confident in their reads. You see them, they'll lose a big team fight, respawn, and immediately just go back to that same lane. Does that change your mentality as a competitor?
No, it does. Like I said, when you play against OG, you need to think different, because they don't play like any other team. Even if you kill a hero from theirs, the rest of them, they will run at you, and it will throw you off guard. And it's the same if they kill you somewhere and you're pushing out like another lane on the opposite side, they're already going there. They already know that you want to go there, and they are coming to goddamn kill you. So every time you need to think faster. You need to be aware of what's going on.
One of the nice things about them last year was they were one of the first teams to like quickly buy back in the team fights. We saw in the grand final in game 5, they were roaching, and it dies, he buys back, they win the roach fight, and the game kind of swings really hard at that point, and you know, OG wins TI. So they're one of the teams, I think, that is like really good at these buybacks in the early mid game. Most late game teams are like good at these buybacks, but the early game, I think it's gonna go well if OG buys back.
Yeah, as I think you guys have probably figured out by now, we are in a short technical delay here. We are going to get you into the draft as soon as possible. But your point about buybacks reminds me of something. It's not just buybacks, it's also kills. The kill economy in Dota is really strange this year. Early kills worth very little, late kills worth a lot. So you'll see there was a match in the group phase. NIP was 30-30 in an Alchemist game in kills. They had a 40K net worth lead. OG seems to be very, very good, not only at getting kills, but at getting kills where they matter, at getting kills where they really hurt you. Can you guys talk about that a little bit?
Early game kills are kind of weird right now because they increase the kill streak XP.
Yes.
So now when you go on like a 3 kill streak in your lane, you get killed once, the enemy laner is the same level as you. So it's these kills are still important, but it's more important for the first 15-20 minute kills that you try to rotate them into objectives, or you make them the enemy have to rotate towards you. Because either way, you turn these kills into pressure. Just taking the kill and then staying in your lane, hitting creeps, it's not that good anymore.
Yeah, like Anna was saying, they recently changed this XP thingy, where if you have a kill streak, you get like a lot more bonus experience. And some people are like really aware of that, and I think some teams, they didn't really catch on to that until a while ago. But I think OG, they're really good at them, at that. I also heard Matumba Man, like he talks about this actively. Okay, this guy's a kill streak.
Yes.
If we kill him, we get a lot of experience, so it's great. And on top of that, OG are really good at kind of like rotating on a tower and killing a guy there, and then kind of turning it into a tier 1 or a tower dive.
So it's really interesting you said. It's like some players have turned this into a bounty system, where it's like, hey, this guy is really big right now, we get him, that's a lot of resources.
It applies a lot more pressure on the guy that's ahead. Like if you're mid, solo kills the enemy mid, he ganks the enemy tri-lane, gets like a triple kill, he's now dominating. You have to like relax now. You can't be this guy who just goes in, you're gonna get like 3 kills, you'll die, but you're like, oh, okay, they got like 600 gold on, their offlaner or whatever. It's all good, guys. I'm just gonna move on. Now, you get killed there, their offlaner's a higher level than you. So you have to make sure that, you kind of chill when you're having a good early lead, and that's why a lot of the more games are slow. People are more choking people out, you're playing the map slow as a team, pushing in all the lanes, and then that's why a lot of games are ending with really high net worth advantages.
Yeah, it's interesting when you talk about tempo-wise. this is one of the only TIs going back for a while. This is over 40 minutes average match duration in this TI. The games have been going a lot longer, partially for the reasons you're talking about. Mirana, I can't disagree with that as the first ban from OG as we're just getting underway here in our draft. This has been one of the more impactful heroes in this tournament. Slightly more successful actually at the support role.
Yeah. I mean, this hero, it just feels really good to play with. I think because the early game is pretty much sped up for a lot of teams. So you have the Moonlight, she can freely roam around, she arrows some neutral creeps, she feels good herself by getting those levels. And it's just working really well for a lot of teams.
I think MSS from NEWBEE has a really cool hero pool.
Oh,
he plays
absolutely.
this Invoker for, he plays this Mirana for. He plays these kind of, because he used to play core. He used to play mid, and then he moved to offlane, and then he moved to 4, so he still can't have this core mentality in these games, where he'll kind of have a slower lead, but it's just like he lost the offlane, and then he'll just farm back, come back, and now he's like a 4th core in this team. Sometimes, but then sometimes he's the hard 4. He'll buy some wards or whatever, kind of only get a blink, play with his team.
No, I'm really glad you brought up MSS because the panel was talking about snaking. I agree, he's had a great tournament, but I think MSS has been one of the best players at the event as well. 8 players at this event, 16 or more assists the game. Of course, terrifyingly, OG has 3 players on that list, but MSS up there as well. And particularly early, he's been so active around the map to relieve that laning pressure. Because you talked about some of the importance of that, especially against a team like OG.
Yeah. No, I think MSS has been playing great. Actually, I mean, all of their players, I think, have been stepping it up quite a bit. I also saw CCNC in their early matches. He was rolling over some people. I think it was Liquid, especially. In those series, damn, he was looking real strong.
So we also see the Chen. I was kind of worried for that. It gives this OG this early game tempo. It's one of the No-Tail classics when he moved to support. He used to be a Meepo player, so he has this micro skill like built into himself. He's practiced it over the years. He played Meepo support too, but I don't think we're going to see that now. But this Chen ban, I think, is good for NEWBEE. With their bans, they're slowing the pace down. They're not giving away that Ench for the other game. They're not giving the Chen for the other game. So they're going to try to slow down, maybe get themselves like a comfortable position in the draft.
Yeah, and similarly, you see the reverse theme that on OG, they're worried about scaling. They're worried about Mirana scaling into the late game, as you talked about, possibly from the 4 role. And Pyjamas, 34 and 16 in his career on the Warlock. That's one of the strongest scaling 5 position heroes in the game.
It also helps Yawar's lane. You have a Shadow Ward in your carry. He'll kind of give a little more sustain in the lane. So banning the Warlock kind of makes your offlane a little stronger if you don't want to play against it. It's similar to the heroes like Bane that some teams will run if they want to protect their safe lane. You pick this 5, and their whole point in the game is to help you carry have a good game.
Absolutely. So we are getting into the first phase picks here, moments away. Elder Titan, the most picked hero in this tournament, extremely successful, but tempo-wise, again, Elder Titan in this patch, 20 and 6 in games that end before the 35-minute mark, only 21 and 24 in games that go past that point. OG, we all know they want to play fast.
Yeah, that actually surprises me about the stat of ET. I think the hero is really good throughout the entire game, not just early on. One thing to note is that Alchemist was not banned in the first phase. I think he's been highly contested throughout this entire tournament. But I can't really disagree with the bans of either of the teams.
The hero is really strong in the early game. Yeah, his aura is really good when you don't have, damage reduction items. You don't have hoods or pipes or armor. Yeah. So I think once it gets later in the game, some teams will buy ACs, they'll buy pipes, they'll buy, plate mills, these kind of things, and it kind of offsets the aura for ET. But in the first 35 minutes, you're kind of more focused on getting, drums, Yasha, Maelstrom for your carry, maybe for your mid, a Blink Dagger, even a BKB. But once that's out, the aura is going to kind of crush you.
Well, NEWBEE coming into this draft, in their last 7 drafts, they had first phase 13 different heroes, and they're continuing that stat. And of course, OG 4-0 in the group stage behind Ana's Core IO, going that HOD, Aghanims, Heart of Tarask build. Which of these first phases do you guys like more?
I kind of like OG's a little more, but that's just my personal take. I don't think Visage is that great. I know that they like it a lot because for them it's flexible, at least as far as I'm concerned. But I just think that this IO and ET, it's just so much comfort for OG. So I'm pretty sure that they feel really good about themselves right now.
Like I said, the early game is really strong with the Wisp ET. His aura is going to increase the damage once this Wisp hits 15 and his Ags. His spirits are just going to deal a crazy amount of damage in a team fight. So it's a little scary for NEWBEE.
And this is, of course, the 4th Visage pick of the tournament, 3-1 so far, still sitting on 111. Kind of unbelievably, only 6 heroes unpicked so far in this tournament. As we go into this second phase, obviously, NEWBEE, a lot of flexibility in its first phase here. This Tiny can be a core, can be at the support position. Where do you guys see Visage? Is this definitely a core?
I think most teams have run it as support.
Really?
More
Okay.
often than not.
Yeah.
I think the Tiny might look better as a core.
Okay.
If he gets this Blink Dagger, maybe Echo early, the Wisp has kind of high HP if he goes, Bracer or 2 or the Hod. But I think he doesn't have much armor. So this Tiny will combo him, hit him, 2 times, and maybe he gets low enough that the OG can't continue the fight.
Yeah, I agree with Gunnar. I think Visage is most suited right now for the support role. It's also how most people play them. Also something to note about OG's dual lanes, they usually synergize very well. Like let's say OG, they lane this Wisp and ET together. ET really enjoys a hero that can potentially help him, and if it's Wisp with him, I think it's actually really hard to run into this lane if you're NEWBEE.
It's also double movement speed. You get movement speed from Tether, and then the Wisp will match the ET's movement speed that he also gets from Spirit. So they're gonna be, speedy, running at the enemy off lane if it's a safe lane Wisp. Axeban, I think that's more to protect their Visage. He does really well against birds. He's a natural Vanguard Crimson Guard buyer. And he, he can call the birds, he can kill them in a couple spins. So I think it's more to protect their Visages as well.
I think Bad Rider or Bristleback would be really good for OG in this next phase. So I'm hoping that NEWBEE ban out one of them, preferably the Bad Rider.
So you like Bristleback for the physical damage against the birds, and you like Bat Rider just for the laning?
Bad Rider is just really annoying to deal with for these 2 heroes.
Okay.
He kind of burns through the Visage really fast. Same with Tiny, he has very low turn rate, and he's a slow hero on top of that. Also, it pairs really well with Relocate, at least for Bad Rider. And Bristleback is also just a very known counter to the bird.
He just turns around, has his passive, and then passive reduces damage, and then he gets blocked by Vanguard, so he takes actually no damage in the other game.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the Alchemist ban coming out in the second phase. You guys did talk about that in the first phase. Been one of the more contested heroes in the tournament. Second most banned. Actually, maybe first has moved ahead of Enchantress.
Yeah. So from OG's ban, you can see they don't want a slow game, or because this Sven and this Alk in a slower game, they're going to be able to farm. So the OG is kind of trying to get this maybe a slower game with the Wisp, but they don't want to have this NEWBEE in this comfort being in a slow game. And from NEWBEE, you can see they're a little scared of the team fight from OG. They're banning the Magnus with RP, banning the Axe with Call, they're banning the Tide Hunter with Ravage, banning these team fight heroes you can kind of group around. Maybe they get a Blink Dagger, and then they frontline. So I think NEWBEE's kind of playing towards their slower style that they can fight into the enemy team without having to 5v5.
I think this is, by the way, low-key one of this man, Snaking's best heroes, Beastmaster. He is 14-2 in his last 16 pro games on that hero, and I think this gives them the option of forcing that tempo early. Beastmaster plays very fast. I still think there is some chance that this Visage will be in that core role with the Beastmaster aura.
Definitely could be. Definitely could be.
The birds have a low BAT, I think, so they work much better with the Beastmaster aura. Also, I think Beastmaster is a little undervalued right now for what he gives to the team. He pushes out lanes if he wants to just go boars, or he can even get Necrobook push out lanes by himself. But the more important one, I think, is the vision that he gives from his Hawk. He gives us vision, and teams are so much better at playing around vision these days. Sentries are a little more hard to come by, you only get 10. So this Hawk kind of scouts the whole team, and once you see a hero or 2, you are free to farm the other part of the map.
So the Rubik here for OG does give us some information here. With the Elder Titan being played almost exclusively in the support position, tells us more than likely this is going to be an Ana Wisp again.
Grimstroke matches up well with the Beastmaster. You can double roar. It's also one of the better heroes against Wisp from the support. If he ever is going to relocate in, it's going to be 2 heroes. That's a free ult.
Absolutely.
You can instantly get a double roar. You can get double, Grave Chills from the Visage, Soul Assumptions. There's all these combos that they have built in, and it's also one of the better scaling supports. He has an early game GPN talent, so he can maybe get a sheep if the game goes past 35 minutes, which, as you said, might not happen.
If OG has anything to say about it, it won't. But I think we need to talk a little more as it becomes clear that this is potentially going to be another Ana IO. How do you counter core IO? Because it certainly looked like nobody in the group stage figured it out.
I think Pipe is one of the more important things. His level 15 talent with the Ags is really scary. It does so much damage. I think it's like 150 per spirit.
It's really high. I think preferably against Io, you try to fight him before he has his timing. This insane power spike is his 15 with Aghanims, because then he gets a talent, the permanent balls and whatever. And then, like Anna was saying, like if you have good sustain with Pipe and maybe some Greaves hero, I think then you have a good shot at playing against the hero.
Yeah, and I like you guys talked about Bristleback earlier on. I really like this pick here. Number one, obviously the physical damage, but Bristleback is a better tower hitter than people give him credit for, with Warpath and everybody taking the associated talents now.
Also, in the mid game, if this is probably a 3 Bristle, the Wisp is going to tether to him. If he goes out Heart build, the Bristle can't die.
Oh, yeah.
But at the same time, the Bristle is going to have 500 movement speed. His passive and phase boots, this Wisp and this Bristle are going to run around in the mid game. They're going to hit your towers. You're going to be so scared. You know, maybe the Bristle gives the Wisp a Solar Crest, so the Wisp also hits fast. They kind of take these buildings really quickly.
And I really like the way you put that, right? I think we as casters and analysts sometimes overuse the phrase, oh, this hero can't die. That doesn't matter unless that hero is really doing something to threaten, and this Bristleback is going to be in a great position in this game to do that, create so much chaos.
It also is one of those nice heroes where they feel forced to jump on you. You're hitting their buildings, but you have an ET. They kind of clump on this Bristle. They're going to get 3-man stomped. You know, the Wisp is going to reload in. They're going to get an Earth Splitter, and then the team fight's going to look a little scary.
All right, very nice. Going into the 5th phase here, it's actually NEWBEE banning out the Ember Spirit, despite that being one of the signature heroes lately for CCNC. We're waiting on the final ban coming out from OG here. What do you think we're looking at for that 5th pick for both teams?
I think a Crossvex Invoker would round out OG's lineup very well. I like it very much against NEWBEE's kind of team fight, and I think it just synergizes so well with OG. Actually, I think it would give NEWBEE such a hard time to play this game.
So I guess this Tiny or this Visage have to be cores now, right? One of the two. So I think the Bristle pick is going to make this Tiny core a little scarier, but on the other side, I think the Visage is way scarier to play against as the Bristle. So I think NEWBEE's going to be more inclined to put this Tiny on the mid lane, or what they could do is they put the Tiny with the Grim in the safe lane. And they kind of do this big combo to try to burst the Bristle in the lane. He has Inkswell, you know, he tosses avalanches. So I think NEWBEE is just going to pick a hard carry that they're going to make space for with these 4.
I really agree, and I wonder if you guys agree with me, just overall as we take a step back. From the individual hero mechanics, I feel like NEWBEE have really had an answer to OG so far in this draft. Are you surprised by that?
I'm surprised by this.
Omni Knight pick. All right. Well, you want to talk about heroes not dying. So what are the lanes here for OG?
Mid Omni Knight, maybe?
Okay.
I think so, yeah.
I think mid Wisp or mid Bristle.
I don't know.
I want to see it.
Is it OG Radiant? I believe they're Radiant, right?
I believe so, yes.
So if OG's Radiant, the Bristle can actually stack his own Ancients from the mid lane with Quill Spray. So you can just walk under the cliff, Quill Spray, stack his own Ancients, and if he does that every minute for the first 5-6 minutes, he'll hit this level 7, and then he's going to hit level 10 in the next minute.
They'll probably decide off of the last pick on NEWBEE, how they put their lanes. I would actually really like Timbersaw here for NEWBEE. I don't know if they're capable of playing all their heroes like that, but they have...
Triple strength cores.
Yeah, 4 strength heroes.
You don't have to worry about scaling too much this patch, I think. A lot of the heroes scale without needing like a hard carry, right? So it's like there's Ags now, there's Moon Shards if maybe this Tiny gets a Moon Shard late game, even the Tiny Ags Daedalus, there's your physical damage in the late game. So this Timbersaw, if they play it with like all their heroes, they can put the Timber mid or top. He's going to have a good game. He's going to slow down the game because OG can't pressure him. Yeah. He can sit in front of all their towers. I think it's a good pick.
Yeah, I like OD and Timber, but I don't know if they're going to pick a... They might be thinking about it. Could be something that makes sense. All these heroes are kind of abused this...
What about a light?
I think it's okay, but I feel like it might just lack some damage. I don't know if he can cut through those heroes.
Statistically, Lifestealer, there you go. That has been a late game hero in this tournament and in the recent past. Guys, we got a heck of a game here underway. OG facing off against the North American squad, their TI main event. But before we throw it over the game, we've got Thanks Purge with the last word.
Hey guys, OG opening with their IO in the first phase is not too surprising considering what they've done. What's really effective at doing is once it buys Aghanim Scepter, it has a really good mid-range, high-damage output. So it's not good for IO if the enemy heroes can get right up. It has Bristleback to be really obnoxious and tanky to kind of give it some space in between. And they can also protect it with their Elder Titan support as well as the final Omni Knight pick. They can buff up his strength and make it hard to disable him. So something that NEWBEE might want to do is maybe try to crush the IO in the lane. They pick potentially really strong lane support like the Visage. They could potentially tri-lane him, try to nuke him down before he gets a lot of items, or what they need to do is just hit the back line and blow up those heroes if possible. It's super important that the IO doesn't snowball. If they commit to the IO, they need to, or it's just going to get worse, and we're going to see a lot of matches like we saw in the group stage. So with that said, we're going to throw you guys right over the casters and have an awesome match.
An awesome match will be absolutely. Absolutely wild for our second series yesterday. But hey, let's see how we go on the first one. NEWBEE versus OG. We're wondering, drafting this quirky little wisp, but have prepared? Done preparation? Amazing.
Yeah. Both teams have really different lineups and really different win conditions in this game. It's going to be like a complete clash of styles, which has kind of been the case for most of OG's games in the group stage because nobody has their style, so it's a clash of styles every time. But yeah, I think as the panel has talked about leading into it, I think they've drafted a lot of stuff that they've been doing great with that really fits their players and their play styles. We were debating, I think the Timbersaw suggestion, I looked at that draft, I was like, Timber is amazing here, but I was thinking like NEWBEE's team identity. Would they put Yawar on a hero like Timbersaw? Are they looking for the Lifestealer or something like Weaver? And they do end up going for the more classic type carry, which doesn't put them on as much of a timer as the Timbersality they have. They're like, okay, OG will hit a mid-game timing, we need to survive that, and we'll win late.
I also just like the synergy that comes from the rest of the NEWBEE lineup. Like, we could look at Yawar, but we've been talking about the Grimstroke and what can work with Soulbind, and there's so many different things that can do it. And OG should be aware of this. They were the ones who started trying to find their confidence back at ESL1 Birmingham by running these Grimstroke abusable Soulbinds and created this meta that we find ourselves still tapping back into every now and then.
Yep. This does not look very similar to most of OG stuff from the past, though. If you were watching OG at TI8 and you haven't been watching too much Dota this season, OG they started playing they've played a little bit of Elder Titan on Jarek. It's no tail on the Elder Titan. Hasn't played that too much this season. It's not the bread and butter OG and coming up with new cool strategies. So how they pull this off in this game?
Two of them. They couldn't grab the top one. Snaking was trying to contest no tail for it. Did he actually send his boar over? So it's going the way of NEWBEE, won the way of OG.
That could have almost been.
I love how
No-Tail didn't get the run.
Like we had an undisclosed person who was up here before. They're running, and it's just like every different pose that Goofy can actually take. It's all kind of play against almost everybody.
Warfare.
Yeah. No-Tail, that's a lot of damage he's taking up on top lane, snaking an MSS. They put the Soul Assumption into him already. Obviously, Anna's going to give the regeneration. And this is the lane that we have seen OG abuse during the group stage as well. The ET, who could just get so much in a dual lane, it's enough. So he runs back in with level 1 and just wants to beat the crap out of the support. But it's just fueling MS as long as MSS has the sustain.
Yeah, I think OG would like because he's low on regen in the lanes, because he wants to go for this quick fast C. And I would imagine here, because Visage without mana in lane is really not very good damage, weak animation, bad armor, and yeah, you got to play on that mana, especially as
Grave Shield, you got Beastmaster Roar, Tiny Toss, Avalanche, like it just seems to just be coming in spades for NEWBEE when it comes to control.
The key hero of the strategy for OG is actually Omni-Knight that we haven't talked too much about, because he's the true enabler of the lineup. He needs to hard dispel the Roar. He needs to protect the IO or the Bristle, whoever is the carry of the game. We'll have to wait and see who becomes the true carry of it. And yeah, he is what is going to keep the fights together. Because if they don't sustain long enough, they can just get killed off by burst.
Really thinking about diving CCNC. He's got 3 Quill Spray stacks up. Top's going to come underneath the tier 2 tower. And maybe a little bit too deep. Is there any support that wants to TP over? CCNC feels like can go back in for a little bit more. Hit him with the tree. Topson's so low, but CCNC still with the 3 Quill Spray stack. The tree toss. It's so much damage, but not enough. 29 HP. And CCNC has to move to the north side of the tower. This is why we always keep our eyes on mid.
Well, Topson's trying to deny himself to this neutral camp. CCNC's coming over.
He's got toss available, but all right, Alphas win.
That's a long death timer though. He's down for 25 seconds. CCNC right now I think should be nuking out this wave and suicide to the tower. That way he gets all the experience and gold here and gets back to lane with full resources. I hope he's going to make this exact play. He's buying a bottle. And I think he's just going to kill himself. Yes, perfect. This is the best play he could make.
Topson fortified, probably just to make sure that CCNC can't get every single CS there.
No, it's just one.
Yeah. Hey,
but
one counts for it all.
Rather than that,
right?
the more important thing about the glyph was that he gets the experience coming back, because if he hadn't glyphed that wave, he would have lost a full wave in tower before his respawn. This way he protects 3 of the enemy creeps, keeping them alive outside of the tower range to come back in. I love the way the glyph has evolved since it got implemented. Like, people have got more and more creative with how to use it and what it can actually contribute to the laning stage. Outside of the obvious intended way it was implemented originally, which was to protect towers, since it started affecting creeps, you can do a lot of cool things with it.
Topson's copying a lot of damage. CCNC nuking down the wave with tossing back Topson. So he took all the brunt of the damage from the towers.
CCNC has a haste rune. When he gets Avalanche again, Topson could just flat out die here. Half HP, he has no regen. Does he have anything coming in? No, he doesn't.
Courier only brings in, well, he's got a Mango. He's backing up for the 5-minute shrine.
Yeah, he might stack a camp or 2 as well to farm with Quills. Actually, it's just going to farm a doubles.
Man, up on top lane, snaking heavy amounts of damage. N0tail still got that plus 115, snaking's low. MSS needs a load of extra space, got his 4-stick charges, so N0tail's not going to force this issue.
Now it's time for bounties.
But CCNC's coming over for the 5-minute bounty runes, and if he moves fast enough, he might even get his own opening as Lifestealer, Yawar with a follow-up stun. And it's going to be repelled out by Seb. But this is 4 bounty runes going the way of NEWBEE.
That's really, really big for them.
That actually means that OG has claimed, what, 1 bounty rune? This is like so far in this game.
Got 1 rune only.
It's a good thing they're not running Alchemist.
Then they would have probably got a little bit different approach entirely to the game. But yeah, that's really big for NEWBEE. That's the same as getting like 2 kills in terms of just raw gold.
I still wonder, like, how long does this keep going this way? Like, you got 1 kill the way of OG. The gold advantage is about 1,000 to NEWBEE. The CS is pretty even across the board. But we've seen these timings from OG. Once Ana gets a little bit bigger, starts to sync up with a couple of his other heroes, like the OG just roll over every other team. How does NEWBEE prepare for this?
They could try to out-tempo them before Wisp is level 15. So there's going to be this really strong timing for NEWBEE when all their heroes are level 6, when they have Visage Birds, when they have Roar, when they have the Soulbind like we've talked about. I think they should be favored in fights around that timing. OG's lineup doesn't have that much in the way of damage except the Bristleback for a while. So I think that would be a good approach. And then if you get ahead during that time, then when Wisp does hit the level 15, maybe you chill a little bit, get key items, and then you can go again. Auras are also a great solution in this game, which they will have plenty of with the Beastmaster.
Yeah.
So armor auras are really good against the Bristleback. Not so good against the IO, of course, but maybe you can buy a pipe.
They're ganking up on top. At the same time, Notel and Ana are coming into the tier 1 tower. This smoke maneuver from Pyjamas and CCNC. This could be really punishing. If they can kill off Ana at the beginning, he tethers back. Actually, Notel's the one being slowed down. CCNC, he really wants to kill off the IO. He doesn't want the ET. Ana is the primary target, number 1. Notel puts him to sleep. CCNC was just out of range for it, and he'll come back in with the stun, but no, Ana tethers away to safety. Now Notel brings in this plus 160 damage to dissuade NEWBEE. The failed rotation from NEWBEE is going to cost them. They really wanted that kill on Ana, but the positional play from OG, just too good.
That was just a flat-out outplay by Ana. Going into the bottom left corner there, so the Avalanche misses. Top lane, though, they're still going to get no-till here, I think.
Yeah, the stuns are out. Ana can't give that much, and that's actually first blood. Remember that technically the first one that happened was the denial inside the jungle. Still shows up on the board.
Thompson, mid lane.
CCNC's getting hurt. Thompson's still going to be a little bit more wary. Yeah, he's got double braces.
He has a lot of CS. He pushes out the lane, he retreats to the jungle, he farms 2 stacks. Mid-Bristle is one of the more effective farmers in the game.
Jirax may be in a little bit of trouble. Seb, he's trying to wait for the right purification time. Jirax going to pick him up, throw him back in again. Yoar, he's looking for a creep to infest into, and then he can start fighting again. Pop straight back out again, up to a lot of life. And the harassment kind of counts for nothing. There's up. Here they go once more. That nice observed ward is in deep. Toss in forward, just putting MSS on the front lines. No tower will fall. There's NEWBEE. Now start getting a little bit more active across the map, hunting for kills. And they've got that range enabler through CCNC.
I don't know how to laugh into the chat wheel. It's so...
Hey, what did they say in the thing? Like, I just want to be free. I want to be free to play Dota.
They also said, I want to use chat wheel. They were on holiday in Australia and they were like, I want to use chat wheel.
Yeah, shout out to the boat guy.
Yeah, the boat guy was great.
Yeah, can we have the boat guy on chat wheel? I'll be down for that.
I like what CCNC is doing in mid here. He's identifying that he pressured the Bristle back away from the lane for a bit, and that Bristle will also want to semi-jungle. So he's trying to constantly push the wave into the mid tower to force a response and defense, and that will allow him to eventually break down this tower. He's got about half of it so far, which is great.
They also identified the fact that Notel's preparing stacks. Grimstroke's in very deep. The Observer Ward's there. The Stomp not going to sleep up anyway. Grimstroke just going to TP away, realizing the stun's already been used. But these 2 Observer Wards has been placed down. Every time I've seen OG play this IO on Dire's side, they've always pulled him back around that 10-minute mark just to farming up those stack areas. And they're not looking to block. They're looking to contest with the wards. And here it is. Ana walks up high ground. It's like, all right, boys, maybe we should start getting some sentries out because now they're going to try and flash farm him. How much damage can you do? Like, do you actually just start pushing towers as opposed to contesting him?
That's one option. It's what Beastmaster's definitely going to do top, but No-Tail will try his best to delay this push as much as possible. One downside to playing 5 Elder Titan, though, is that your mana pool is relatively limited, so he kind of needs IO to sustain him.
In the middle of the Ancients, he's battling for the 10-minute bounty runes. Once again, NEWBEE claiming all 4 bounty runes. Back-to-back bounty winners relocate from IO. It's pure efficiency. But he's already finished up the Dominator. Like how they're even giving the IO the tome.
Yep, get level 7, so you get level 4 spirits. And yeah, he's just jungling. He's got the Dom creep, got a wolf.
The Observer Wards are still watching this, but obviously NEWBEE know. Like, if they're going to go for it, then they've really got to go for it. But top lane may be an easier choice. You got Beastmaster Aura up on snaking, Notel's backing off. The Spirit walked over the top of Grimstroke, but I don't think it actually clipped him enough.
Doesn't look like OG are too interested in trying to even defend that tower.
No.
They're looking for a play of their own bottom. They have siege creeps, they've brought down the Bristle back, so I think we're going to see a 1-for-1 tower trade here with CCNC still trying to push out mid and getting whatever damage he can on that tower.
Such a hard hero to go on bottom lane, though. Like, Yoar's not going to go down. Like, that's still a lifesteal. His Infest is down, and looks like GRX, you'll be able to steal Rage, that's all. So tier 1, as you said, for a tier 1 tower, straight trade-off. Anarchy's moving out of the jungle to ensure the tier 1 tower remains alive in mid. But with this movement up from NEWBEE, one, they'll get the D-ward on the Dire Obs if they see it as they walk past, which they definitely should, as in range of the sentry. They got to get rid of it quickly because the rest of OG is coming. Nortel and Ana trying to work with the Alpha Wolf, even shrining early up. But the familiar birds are ready to fight. And they do not want to give Ana this room to breathe. And MSS even looking to steal the camp. Now Nortel actually on bottom lane too, but the stun, it comes in towards the Elder Titan. The nuke damage is a little bit faster. Yawar able to just get himself away. Topson underneath the tier 2 towers in pretty deep if anyone wants to try and contest that, but NEWBEE had pitched a tent right here inside the dire jungle, and they don't want to go anywhere else. Even Pyjamas with fresh observer was to make it work.
They're limiting IO's farm a lot if they can play aggressively up here.
Topson's really actually dead. He's so deep underneath this tower. They've got all the damage in the world. He couldn't use his TP to get away from this. And Yawar wants to remind him who's in charge. Tip Topson 4-1. And he was the he is the number one net worth on the field. But the 3 right behind him are newbies.
It's a big kill, but at the same time, it does force NEWBEE out of OG's jungle. That's what you get out of playing aggressive with Bristle like this. You know, to kill this guy, they need 3 heroes. If they're going to bring them and get that kill, he creates a lot of space for the other 2 cores in his team. Both the Omni Knight and the IO will now be getting a little bit of space. But you got to be careful not to die too much on Bristle. Like you said, it's the richest hero on the field, so a very valuable kill.
Do you actually like it where like Bristol's getting so much fun, but it's the life stealer? He's finished the Midas very early on, building in towards the Radiance. Yawar's timing is not being slowed down at all. Yeah. He's going to be ready for the team fight, probably before OG is.
Yeah, I think NEWBEE are in a pretty good position here. And what it's going to come down to is the IO's timing. I don't think OG are going to look to do anything, really, until IO is level 15. So level 15 IO with Axe, the faster the better for them.
Smoke up on mid, Fortifications trying to let OG's wave push in a little bit harder, but then wrapping around the back, the ET splitter, it's all going onto the Tiny, but CCSC will tank it up, they chain them together, Jirax dies so quickly, Nortel's going to join him as well, the GA from Seb, it arrives, but it's so late, and now Topson, this chain stun just continues to go on, the GA will wear off. Most of the abilities already been burnt from NEWBEE, the tower still brought down as well, that went to Topson.
Good luck killing the Bristle with Omni next to him.
Yeah,
that's
a little harder.
Double damage.
Double damage.
But that entire fight happened without the life stealer, without the IO. The 2 are still on the polar sides of the map, having their own plays. CC&C, and Topson's going after him. 4 Quill Spray stacks, Familiar drop 1 and 2, creates a little bit of space. Stun time doesn't last long, and well, there is no stun available to stop CC&C's TP out.
OG still got the mid tower though, which is nice. Like, even if their heroes aren't particularly good at taking team fights, which was somewhat apparent there unless they're all together, they got the objective that they came for. And they're willing to lose 2 supports for that.
Grimstroke's in a little bit of trouble underneath the tower, looking for the stun for Topson. Easy movement speed to get away. The silence will slow him down a little bit, but MSS looking for a rebuttal. Just some damage into Seb, but 1 by 1, NEWBEE are up here. The Blink Dagger of CC&C is about to arrive, but he's lost his teammates. Is there a toss back? No, he just blinks over. He's going for the 15-minute runes, close towards his Beastmaster.
The Stomp did not connect. This time OG get 1 rune.
Yeah, they got bottom. They got that from with Jirax. I think CC&C is really looking for a big burst.
Oh wait, they got 2 runes. Oh, look at that.
Yeah, they got the 1 up on top and 1 on bottom, so Topson and Jirax.
Actually, I thought they only got 1 top.
Raw, snaking.
Oh, he got it off.
Over on the top lane, and Omni Knight already protected by the Heavenly Grace. Nortel, gonna ET splitter. It's more of space creation, nothing more. While
Really
on bottom lane, Jirax is maybe a little bit too far forward. Grimstroke's got the silence available. Lifestealer moves forward, but then there's a Rage TP away to safety. Have they got the DPS? They do not. He actually was going to get the silence in.
If Seb doesn't get the Heavenly Grace off there, he dies. The cast point on Heavenly Grace is pretty small. It's pretty fast to cast that spell, so reacted in time for the Roar, and effectively just baited out a Roar.
Do you like this with Grimstroke skipping the Soulbind at level 7? He's gone 4 points up in the Inkswell instead, but I was only thinking because that mid-fight, I was wondering where the Soulbind was. Where was the doubling of the Roar of the abilities?
I think sometimes it can be fine to bypass it. He has a lot of synergies this game, though, but I do think he should probably skill at level 8, because the kind of fights that are going to be coming soon is with OG grouping up. IO is closing in on level 15. NEWBEE should know what's coming their way then, and the Soulbind can be the difference maker. Soulbinding IO to another hero limiting IO's mobility, which is really high, of course, by being tethered to the Dom creep, is going to be really useful.
I don't think CCNC really wants this. N0tail and Topson, they're chasing the Tiny. It feels like CCNC is now just trying to create more and more space. Yuan still not finished up the Radiance just yet. Pyjamas is going to have some issues inside the Dire jungle. Maybe he can deny himself up to the Ancients. This is kind of his hope, but it won't happen. Ana will claim his first kill of the game, and with that, the Aghanim Scepter is done 17 minutes in. Trade-off will be the Tier 1 tower in mid. No fortification to stop that. Just the ET stomp to slow it down.
It's a good spell still from Jarex, by the way. This is super useful for the next 3 minutes. I don't know if there's anything he wants more than this. Maybe if he can steal Roar after using Ink Swell, it can give them a fantastic fight. But Ink Swelling a Bristleback that's tethered basically hastes him almost, and that's dangerous.
This is the time that NEWBEE will be properly tested.
Yep.
You've got Bristleback totally ready to fight. Full Crimson Guard. You actually have a Medallion flying out in the Courier. Mass Wards are arriving as well. You have the Aghanim Scepter and Dominator build over on the Io. Ana can relocate in if they find themselves a fight. So they smoke up and they look for it. But what does NEWBEE do? They hide out. In fact, they then move their own smoke down to bottom lane. They're chasing Ana in the trees, and they need to stop that. They need to actually stop the relocate. They're able to do so. The silence arrived in time from Pyjamas, and Ana totally controlled. He moved his Dominator creep back so he can potentially tether away to safety, but that won't happen. But Ana loses his life. What's the rebuttal? With always OG, there's a trade. It's the Tier 1 tower top.
Yep. And there's no way they defend that from NEWBEE, but they're buying time, right? They need to get this Lifestealer his Radiance.
Yep.
Lifestealer has not really been much of a hero this game so far, as it usually is when you go the Radiance build. You need that time to build up. And so far, so good. Sure, you lose this top tier 1 tower. I don't think it's the biggest deal as long as you don't start losing map control completely.
Oh, found a new target. Grimstroke is actually the Inkswell that Durax still had. Stunning up Lifestealer. Rage is available. He's got a creep wave to infest into, and he's got some problems. Topson's moved in through the lane too. He needs a little bit more time. Who's he going to reach? A familiar? Is he going to reach anyone? They just have the avalanche to create some space with MSS's stuns. Up they go. Toss them away. Shrine's still on cooldown for the moment. But Yuan can get live straight out of the jungle. They have to keep him alive. 4.5k gold on Yuan.
And OG, they could Roche really soon. Are they actually?
They're going in. They have the Medallion, so why not? Alpha Wolf's there too.
Medallion, Goo, Wolf. Yep. It's a quick hit. Wow, that's faster than I thought it would. So I knew it would be pretty fast.
NEWBEE can just go for a trade then. Is the Tier 1 tower on bottom lane for Roshan, that's all.
But now it gets dangerous. I think OG will try to maybe even high ground with this, because they've hit this like insane timing now. Either they high ground now or they wait for the heart, which is probably going to take longer than the Aegis unless Ana has some ridiculous kill streak coming his way now. So
they're chasing CCNC. His Blink's on cooldown. Pyjamas nearby. He'll give a little bit of extra help, but Durax has the toss available. Doesn't even get the stun off through the Inkswell. Pyjamas TP out. Takes a little longer, but he'll be away. So only chip damage into the Tier 2. And Yuan gets away and that straight back as he rage TPs away to safety.
pretty even game right now, though. But you kind of have this feeling that OG will have this ridiculous fight soon coming their way. After what you've seen in the group stages, having the Aegis, oh, that courier needs to not die. All right, they got the Radiance at least, but...
They're going to lose Pyjamas die. MSS will have some space. Yuan beating into Ana, relocates away to safety. And she relocated into that. And now Topson battles against Yuan. Yuan, he kind of needs a creep to work with. He needs something to work with. MSS can't help him out. And Topson, Brave Chill, Jirax moved in through the side. A quick toss, catching the two of them together. They just keep buffing up Topson. Not even a ridiculous team fight. It's just an easy play where Topson knows just how strong he is. Grabs the creep wave from up on top. You pull it towards mid as well. So all the pressure from snaking to the tier 2 tower will also just be negated.
OG just have insane vision up here. Ana knew exactly what he could get away with that relocate play because of the deep ward that they've had for so long. 3 minutes. They've had this deep high ground ward in the Radiant top jungle. And it's high ground time.
It is the OG special. Pushing into the tier 3 tower. So snaking. They just have to almost let it go. Back up, they can't fight. The new items are arriving. Solar Crest is up. Rod of Atos on Omni Knight. And there's no reason why you need to back up. Not unless a big initiation from NEWBEE is able to connect. Ana and Thompson, the ones on the front line. Remember, Ana's still got that Aegis Immortal. Yawar copying heavy damage early on. The rest of OG, Smoke sitting behind. CCNC, nice toss back. They pull Ana in so deep under the tier 4 towers. Bounced on by the rest of OG. He won't have the ability to fight again here as the tier 4 towers. The Soulbind tries to connect. And then she got anything. Can they kill Ana once again with the Soul Assumption? He's just tanking through all of this with the wand charges. Thompson stacking everybody up as well with the cool sprays. They can get back to base, but even that's not safe. One more spray. Nading under the tower. He's just tanking through all of it. A triple kill for Thompson. Nowhere is timing.
He just killed 3 heroes with the fountain. Oh, Bristleback, what a hero. Beautiful play from OG there. I think it was an admirable attempt from CCNC to toss the IO into the tower, but dying for that kill without having buyback is just too costly. They can't take the fight afterwards. They don't have enough damage to get through the IO twice with the Omni Knight protecting it, as well as a good defensive. They kind of used up their entire tank on the first kill. As we see in the replay here, they try to go on the IO. That's just not enough. He gets healed up, gets Heavenly Graced, and even relocates.
For a moment it looked like they would have a chance, but Thompson literally stands there and delivers. Oh my. Yes, of course there's a bunch of grins on their face like, hey guys, we got this really great combo it seems that no other team knows how to play against. And it's almost props to NEWBEE. They had a plan.
They get props for that? Yeah, I kind of like the idea that NEWBEE had. It just feels like the game got really hard. And I think that's the biggest mistake NEWBEE made all game, was going to the bottom side of the map and exposing the Roshan for OG to take, because, yeah, Snaking's dead, by the way.
Yeah, he was trying to force out the bottom lane, but he's walking underneath dire vision.
Basically, what ended up happening was when OG grabbed this Aegis, they felt invincible, because the one way NEWBEE win fights is by blowing up the IO first, and they can't do it when there's an Aegis on it. They tried it in their base, it failed, and it gave OG pretty much a 10k gold lead. But if you play in that Roshan side of the map instead of the bottom area, the time in the OG goes, maybe you can delay them, maybe you can get a soulbind fight around the Roche pit or whatnot. But it's just too easy when you give a Bristleback lineup with IO that Aegis for free.
It's a surprise, he was inside the familiar.
That was a sexy play, actually. That was really nice.
Now Seb's looking for a die. Nothing else that can be done about this. He can do some chip damage in the meantime, but Yawar had to come back to base because Thompson's still here trying to pressure.
They were not expecting that to be an infest play at all.
Familiars used as transportation.
Yep.
And that's some classic Tinker stuff. Everywhere on the map you can go.
OG is still going to get 4 bounties. The game has still been played at their pace for the last 5 minutes, so sure, this Ana kill, it's nice and it looked cool, but you're not progressing the game really. You have to push out your mid lane. Well, maybe they'll catch
Seb. Need to find a new target. Access to flying out. Oh, Snaking. Does he want to roar on that? Probably not. Pylai dies. Thinking about to slow down. Instead, Snaking. Another boar up. CCNC. It's the Avalanche. Support's coming in. OG, they have chased way to tower. They have friends to help them out. The Soulbind connecting OG together. The Roar catching Back being pushed around to the side. But man, the Stomp from Nortel, they just create more and more space. And where is this damage that NEWBEE was meant to have? It's not there. The only person they lost was CCNC.
Yeah, that could have gone a lot worse. The Omni was just too fast with the phase boots.
They just chase and chase too.
Phase boots and drums. They eventually caught up to him, but they couldn't even get the toss back.
Yeah, now Roar and Soulbind is down. You got a 50-second to a minute window of opportunity for OG. to pressure in through bottom.
And
no,
in this,
no Agassi. But they're about to get with the Tower Death. It's going to be the heart on IO.
Yeah, in the upcoming fight, the IO either had heart or a buyback. That's something else to keep in mind. Sure, maybe you don't have an Aegis, but you can still buyback relocate that can buyback and reconnect to the fight. And this is the only other hero in the game that can put on. He'll play carry. Who knows? But yeah, he's getting the heart. Ridiculously difficult to
jump in, toss back. They found themselves a target, but Bristleback with the Fred life and armor. They have to get through. Yawar's giving it a shot. OG have come in deep. CCNC once again just stunned up and controlled from the back line, trying to create more space. He'll be the first one to die here. The Roar is finally out, but for what avail? Nothing is really going here. And Thompson, he's the man that's going into the fountain once again. Bathe in the glory of the Radiant. Thompson, he just does not give a crap. Anna will give all the life. This is just fountain farming. Gee, you got it. This is soul breaking. GG. Okay. GG. Message has been sent. You weren't home, and we smacked through the door and delivered it anyway. What is that?
Oh man, that's my favorite moment of the game. Pyjamas with the OK GG. Oh man. OG always have these quirky strats. Honestly, I think this will be the last game of the tournament they get IO.
Yeah.
I'm pretty convinced.
Yeah.
Just, it's not because the hero is unbeatable or uncounterable, but OG just have these they have these multiple different weird strategies that they can run with it, and you'd probably rather not worry about it. Similar to how, thinking back at TI5, AOI's techies, it's like one of those off-brand heroes. You're like, you haven't practiced very much against this playstyle with a core Wisp, so it's probably just safer to, you know what, we're going to give OG something else that they're comfortable with. We'll get rid of the IO to play a more normal game of Dota that we're used to. Because, you see, this Bristleback... This Bristleback Omni combination, like, what are you going to ban, right? If they can run this IO core with 5 different cores in their lineup, you're not going to be able to prevent them from getting some sort of strategy like this.
They hit their timing every time. OG, it just keeps working and working for them. No place is safe as they go 1 game up in this series.
There is just no stopping them right now. OG on the crest of a wave as we welcome you back to the panel area, our draft panel already, our color panel already as well. Gents, we didn't really discuss what NEWBEE should ban. We talked about what OG should ban because they didn't talk about the other way around. Maybe the IO is a bannable hero now.
Yeah, the problem is it's not their win condition.
No, it isn't, but it's an annoyance that they could do without.
It sets up all the win conditions, so you can't ban out all the things that go with it, and you know what it's going to do, you know the timing, and there's just so many combinations that they have that they're comfortable playing. They clearly know what to do. They picked the perfect hero in the Bristleback. NEWBEE, I don't think really responded with that last pick, Lifestealer, in a way that counters it hard enough. And you just see it there. They hit, like, the switch just turns on. We talked about it before the game, right? Like, the game looked pretty close. What was it? Even game at 15 minutes, right? Suddenly it's 12K.
Yeah. 10 minutes 22 minutes. It's done. Actually, at 22 minutes, Cap, I had this thing where I was like, Cap's come in this morning. He's got a black jacket on. He's got a black tie on. He's got a black shirt on. Is he going to a funeral? Maybe it's NEWBEE's funeral. I was genuine. Like, at 22 minutes, I was like, they're done.
Depending how North America does in general today. Could just be an all NA funeral.
Oh, don't do that.
But
don't go that far.
We'll forgive them this one game. They lost against the IO. I think they had some really interesting ideas to it. I mean, the combination of 2 supports that could shove out waves. You got this this split pusher out from Snaking, his Beastmaster. That's iconic. You've got somebody to be able to jump into the back line with the Lifestealer Tiny. Everything seemed to have,
they thought it through,
on paper, that was how you were going to be able to deal with the IO lineup. Just doesn't actually work when all of a sudden they're fountain farming you.
I got the feeling at the end when Pyjamas types, okay, GG, that it's kind of like a resignation of we theory crafted it and we still can't beat it. So okay, fine, you win.
Let's just add to the fact that OG, there's nobody who's going to beat them in the psychological warfare. No. They advanced from chat wheel to the sprays on the ground, the loser spray, and now they're fountain farming you as well. They're doing everything they can to frustrate you in a series.
I mean, it's working, right? You don't just type OK GG if you're not actually flustered. Like on a stage this big, like they're actually, I'm sure they are a bit tilted, but you got to just reset.
Need to calm down a little bit. I'd like to bring in our draft panel for a quick comment. Gents, you've got KheZu over there. what are you going through when a team has a game like that? Because are you like, Christ, guys, we just need to calm down and forget about game one?
I mean, it's a rough one, but you need to adjust. I think they need to be able to fight them early on. Like when you play against this IO, you can give him this free level 15 kind of his Axe timing, and then you hand them the first Roche with the Aegis, and then, I mean, once that happens, they kind of lost already anyhow.
Yeah. Yeah. So do you want them to get into their faces earlier? Then?
Yeah. They did good stuff early on. They like went into the IO's jungle and tried to contest the stack, play some vision. But their heroes don't really allow them to fight him like 5-on-5 head-on. The Beastmaster kind of just wants to farm creeps. Same with Nakes. But when the Nakes comes online, it's a little later than OG, and then it's too late.
Right. Yeah. Alan, I mean, it's a wonder to watch, though, isn't it? When they play like that.
Not bad for your first career appearance on Bristleback, huh? OG just kind of is the team this year that keeps pulling out new stuff. Yeah, we talk about the Ana IO, but all of a sudden you put Thompson in his first career game on a hero and he just does that. I said during the draft, I feel like we sometimes overuse the saying Hero X can't die. When he stands in the middle of a fountain for 5 minutes, okay, maybe that term's warranted.
I think the one thing you haven't said is the math of Bristle and Wisp.
Yep.
The overcharge and then his Bristleback, I think, is 60% damage reduction from the back.
Yeah.
Plus Vanguard or Crimson when he popped it. They took no damage, and then you'd heal from the Wisp. Like if you ever got the spell Lifesteal 10 at 25, he would never die.
Yeah, 27-minute hard. Oh my! I mean, yeah, we were talking down in the talent room about how do you play against this IO when he's getting this HOD super early and he's getting a bunch of free damage, a bunch of free stats just for standing there. I mean, do you Midas the creep? It feels like something that a lot of teams just don't have an answer for yet.
Some teams might try to pick the creep eater or creep Chen, Enchantress, or Dooms, like these type of heroes that they eat the creep.
Okay.
And then the Helm of Dominators is a 60-second cooldown. Gives you a little, breathing room that if you kill it, maybe he gets a new one, but then the next fight, the next tether, he won't have it. So the teams, if they want to let it through, I think they're going to try to pick these more heroes.
All right, well, let's go back to you guys.
It's fascinating listening to players and
that's the problem with it, right? Is that probably NEWBEE had the same exact talk.
Exactly.
They're like, this is how we're going to be able to beat it, and
Yeah.
then they go into the game.
Yeah.
Like, no.
That's what I meant by the end.
It.
Yeah, when Pyjamas types, okay, GG. It's because that's what they've been through. They're like, all right, we accept it. Grant, enjoy the game overall? Still fun?
I enjoyed it. I think the fact is that how they deal with the jungle, like OG themselves, like Bristleback farmed the jungle for the first 15 minutes, and then all of a sudden he's the strongest hero on the map. And then this carry IO is like, well, I'm just going to go play in the jungle instead. And he farms it for like the next 10 minutes. And then they both just take over the entire game. Like they just play as a team so amazingly.
Can't wait till we get back to game two. But we've got a little bit of time before that. First up, we should catch up with our pair of scoundrels. Let's call them that. They're out in the crowd right now. Casey and Slacks, what do you got for us?
I like the scoundrels label. I feel like that sounds friendly yet dangerous at the same time.
It is dangerous. She is a scoundrel. She took this neck pillow off a chair. It was just sitting here.
It's true, I did.
It is beautiful.
Thank you.
Slark neck pillow.
We should. We're still interacting with as many people as we possibly can, and we came out into the crowd to find out who people were most excited to see. So we're gonna. Very nice. Nishi wa Nagadoi.
我支持 VG. I support VG.
VG?
Yes.
What about LGD?
LGD.
Mama Hoo Hoo?
It's very strong, but I think VG can beat them down.
Really? Okay. What about this game? NEWBEE or?
OG. I support OG.
Really?
Ready.
Okay.
Ready.
How are you liking TI right now?
Very good.
Nishi wa TI?
Yeah. Yes.
Yes.
Of course. Yes.
Yes. I also want to show Slacks has been. What do you think of this guy?
Very handsome.
Yeah. Wow. 他是很美.
我也是 me too.
Oh.
Yeah.
You're very beautiful. 他是很美. 美. Mama Hoo Hoo.
Mama Hoo Hoo.
Thank you, my friend. Oh, Shay. All right.
Can you show? I just want to show how many amazing people are here in the arena.
Yay!
It's been so fun getting to interact with everybody, and we just really appreciate people being so welcoming.
Fantastic. Absolutely. I'm sitting next to this man right here, and he's got a secret shop bag. How you doing?
I feel so excited.
What's in your bag, bro? Can I open it up?
For you.
Oh, thank you so much.
I'm gonna hold the mic for you.
Absolutely. What is this, a gyro fan? That's That's nice. This turned into a real impromptu sellout segment. He's just on his phone. He doesn't even notice if anything goes missing. That's great. What else we got? A hat? That's good. He doesn't even care.
Sir, Slacks is still, all right.
Well, thank you very much. All right, Casey, it's always fun having these things.
All right, we got free stuff. Thanks, everybody. We're just going to steal this stuff and see you later. All right, bye-bye. Bye-bye.
Take everything.
But we're going to go this way.
No, I want to go
please stop humping me.
That's where the guy is. I can't go back that way.
Oh, my God. Oh, no. Oh, no. Who wants this? Just kidding. It's yours.
Scoundrels,
Thank
not
you.
thieves. Scoundrels, guys. It's meant to be fun and unbelievable, you know. A little bit of a sellout segment there. Some stuff may still be available at the Secret Shop. Let's take a look at the games that we've got coming up for you today, because it's a packed house right here in the Mercedes-Benz Arena with 4 best-of-3s today for you. Yeah, you see, they had 2 best-of-3s and 4 best-of-1s. We're up in the stakes today with 4 best-of-3s. We'll do the game that we're in right now. OG versus NEWBEE in the upper bracket. We'll also have the other upper bracket match, which is, you know, a small affair between Secret and Evil Geniuses. Can't wait for that one. And then we'll dip into the lower bracket and take 2 of the matches down there. Virtus Pro versus Royal Never Give Up. And TNC Predator versus Liquid. Can't wait. All 4 of those games, gents. There's something in all of them, isn't there?
I'm excited for every single series.
Yeah, there's something you can kind of go, oh, I can't wait for that, or that player to play that player, or that team to clash against that, or that style against that style. There's something in every game.
Yeah, there really is. I mean, obviously, EG versus Secret, that's always going to be a gigantic one, but the Liquid TNC one to me is just like, it feels like so close. Like, I'm super 50-50 on that one, and it's like, can Liquid, are they back on form, or was it just like that VO one?
It's also Heen.
Yeah. It is.
Again, like he knows this team. Can he beat the team that he helped build and make that? I'm fascinated. I love that stuff. It's great. Can't wait for it. What are you looking forward to?
I just think it's amazing how small of a world the Dota community is. How often you have these previous coaches, previous players. I mean, every series, there's always such a unique dynamic, and we have so much to talk about going into every one. We talked about
but it's almost like it's like a nudge, isn't it? Because you go, oh yeah, there's that guy and that guy.
When you mentioned it, I'm like, oh, there's a storyline for everything.
Absolutely. That's
okay, what's the connection with VP and RNG?
That one's a little deeper, but Royal are a big club in China and do have other parts to their organization. And VP are also a multi-game organization, and they've changed their shirts to Chinese stuff. So there's a Chinese team, and I don't know.
I've heard
each other in Rocket League.
I've heard they just never give up. They never quit.
They're the kind of royalty that never give up.
You guys are stretching.
All right, give it to us, Cap. It sounds like you have something.
Yeah, like you obviously have the insider. We're in fight.
How about the fact that VP are, every single year they come into TI, they seem to be suffering every single time. Despite their whole DPC event, they go into this TI and they just always seem to be really bad.
There is,
right?
there is a cloud over them.
Going on them.
There is a cloud over them.
Yeah, and they're matched up against RNG, who are this like younger squad that never gives up.
Now you're doing
Linking somewhere in there with Grant, right? Something about TI and not giving up, and there you go. There's the story. It sells itself. No, that's actually like the weirdest, like one of the matchups, right? It's like the CIS big powerhouse of VP versus like RNG, who's kind of like one of the runts of the Chinese squad. It's like, I'm not sure how that story's supposed to go.
And on the home turf, especially. Like, you never know.
Yeah. I think they probably underperformed as well during the group stages, and it'd be nice to see whether they can go head-to-head with Virtus Pro. Well, our focus returns to the attention of the first series of the day as our 2 teams, NEWBEE and OG, return to the center of the arena to face off against each other at game number 2. NEWBEE getting themselves ready. OG setting themselves up for another run at the Ages. Reminder for you, if you're just joining us or you're new to TI, no team, no player has ever won 2 Ages championships. We've had 8 TIs, 8 different winners, 40 different players have been champions. It's an incredible stat that I have a feeling might just be broken in 2019. These players are getting themselves set. We're going to get more words from our panel in just a moment, but let's catch up with Casey.
MSS. Good to see you guys.
Hello. Hello, hello.
I'm just going to start with this. Your manager, Jack, came in.
Yes.
And a lot of times this happens, and they say, hey, just, you know, be nice to my guys.
Of course.
Jack came in and said, really go in on them.
What can I say? That's our manager. And not the greatest.
Oh! Jack like as a manager?
He's a big goon, honestly. Normally, you expect a lot of professionalism from your manager, some sort of guidelines for your players, but he's actually just one of us. He's just a goon as a manager.
Yeah, he's one of the boys.
Yeah.
He's one of you guys. Yeah. It is interesting that you're now NEWBEE. So can you walk me through how that happened? Because you were with Forward Gaming, you qualified for TI, and then suddenly you found yourselves headed to TI without an umbrella organization behind you.
After Ford dropped us, a lot of organizations actually reached out to us, and it was just simply NEWBEE just was the most attractive.
A big part of it was NEWBEE is a Chinese-based organization, especially in Shanghai, and with TI being in Shanghai this year, it made the most sense that picking a Chinese organization as prestigious as NEWBEE was the right choice.
Yeah, we're also TI4 champions now.
Apparently. Representing.
You know, there's a roster of players who might disagree with you on that.
Of course.
Do you feel that sense of pressure to play for the organization that does have such deep roots here in China, since TI9 is in China?
Like, I don't feel much pressure, but I do feel like I actually played better since we got NEWBEE, so maybe the pressures make me play better, you know? You never know.
Get under pressure, what can I say? I definitely have some home roots to China as well. I was born here. It's definitely kind of crazy that how I started as an American team this year and then it somehow ended up back to my roots.
What do you both want to say about the roots of Dota 2 in China? It means a lot, I would imagine, to the fans and the players in this community to have it in their backyard for the first time ever.
I mean, I would say it's pretty well-deserved. They're definitely, like, one of the big reasons why Dota 2 is still, like, you know, growing and popular.
I mean, the Chinese are huge Dota fans, and we're kind of, like, jumped on the Chinese boat, so we're going to ride off maybe some of the fans' hype.
Yeah, I'm curious if you think that everybody who is filling the stadium is going to cheer for NEWBEE, given that it's a different squad.
I hope they do.
I mean, I hope they do. Probably a lot will depend on the results, and if we do well at this stage, I'm sure the fans will cheer for us.
Last year at TI8, VGJ Storm, so you played there together. Snaking, you were with Team Dignitas at TI3, MSS with Mouse Sports at TI4. So what has changed the most for you, and how have you changed as a player?
It's hard to say. I think I just got better.
You would hope so.
Yeah, I hope so. No, like my first TI, like there was like a lot of nervousness and like pressure, I would guess. But once you start playing at TI, you kind of get used to it. And if you can keep calm when you're playing at TI, like you perform way better. So as long as your team has a good mood, it raises the performance a lot.
He's smiling just listening to you.
Yeah. I mean, it's just, in TI3, when I played for Dignitas, that team was probably the most toxic team I've ever played on. So it kind of built off of Mojo. Like over the years, I kind of learned how to be able to talk with your teammates in a better tone. And all these things that are not skills you learn inside the game really per se, but they're really helpful.
And now here we are at TI9, and as you said, you hope you're better than you were in the first. But is there anything, let's just even talk about TI8. Anything stand out when you think back to that you think, okay, yeah, I'm not doing that again, or no, that definitely worked?
Come on, OG series?
Oh,
there were so many mistakes.
No. Oh, no, there was a lot of mistakes.
Yeah,
I actually don't know how we got top 8. I actually don't know how we got top 8.
Oh, man.
Like, there's so many mistakes. It's not even just us. It was like everybody at TI. There's so many mistakes that happen. So, like, as long as you're the team that's making the fewer mistakes,
right,
you're golden.
Well, it also sounds like if you have the ability as a team to regroup after those mistakes. What has worked for you?
You have to be able to learn how to move past your mistakes during the game, because if you dwell on these mistakes your teammates or yourself made during the game, it's not going to help you in the present and in the near future. And you just got to be able to reflect upon it afterwards.
What are you most looking forward to? What part of TI9?
I mean, hopefully we play in the grand finals. That would be pretty good.
You might be hoisting this little... Well, it's not little. It's very heavy. I tried picking it up.
Is it actually heavy?
I guess we'll find out. Of course.
Yeah.
Well, I wish you both the best of luck. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, always fascinating to hear players with so much experience coming to TI and kind of, you know, talking about how they cope with the pressure and everything else. These guys are old hat. They're fine with it, Cap.
I love the fact that Snaking just like immediately tackled his whole toxic past that he's had as BSJ. I mean, you would know a lot about toxicity in teams and such, right?
Yeah, I'd say that's probably the main problem with NA. I couldn't tell if that was a jab at me specifically.
How about your time at Team Runes?
Yeah, I've already tried to forget that. I think the major thing that he talked about is how much you learn playing on teams. It's not the experience of competitive Dota, but the atmosphere and moving past the tough parts like we saw with OG last year.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, thanks very much, gents. It's time for us to get back into game number 2. Get ready for our draft panel.
OG versus NEWBEE. Game 2.
The TI8 champions trying to recapture their magic on the main stage this year, and they've just taken that first step to repeating history, guys. They began their TI last year with a 2-0 upper bracket win over then Vici Storm, became Forward Gaming, and they're halfway that same kind of result today. Very convincing game 1. I want to talk to you guys specifically about that duo that we saw on the couch there with Casey. MSS and Snaking held to only 3 assists apiece in that first game. Not the kind of activity around the map that we've seen from them so far in this tournament. What can NEWBEE do to change their fortunes in game 2?
I think the biggest one is the Wisp ban, which we've seen already.
There you go.
So they banned the Wisp, they still banned the Chen, and then the Invoker ban is a little surprising to me already. I thought they would try to save it for MSS here, because that was one of his best heroes, I think, in the group stage.
Yeah, especially with the first overall selection. And now, by the way, Enchantress on the board. OG has picked that hero first overall every time they've had the opportunity. So NEWBEE need to think here, do they want to give that away?
I think it's between Magnus and Enchantress right now. Most of the teams that play against OG, they're either banning it, or if they're first pick, they're snatching it. I mean, I would expect OG to respond with their mag. I would be surprised if they didn't.
We talked about Seb's mag, of course, last year at TI. He is on a 22-3 run in professional games on that hero. It's been statistically his most successful hero over the past season.
My lord.
It fits well.
What are you going to do, right?
It fits well with the way they want to play, I think. It lets Anna play this really hard carry. Even if its lane's a little hard, he can always just jungle. He doesn't really need the items. He gets like, 2 Wraith Bands or whatever. He gets some power. Jungle's dead.
Yeah, that's one of the things that we've seen a lot of this year at TI is the carry pool has shrunk a lot. There's so much, it feels like, economic pressure on these big farming cores. And Magnus, of course, one of the big mechanics and in power that sort of relieves that in the laning phase especially.
It's also why heroes like Alchemist are really strong. You can jungle at level 3, level 4. The offlane picks this like dual lane that's supposed to crush you in the lane and your game's supposed to be unplayable. You get level 3 because of pulls. You get up the jungle, you still have 800 GPM. So
absolutely.
That's why that hero is really scary for most teams, and they usually ban it, but I believe it's not banned this game yet.
Yep, so OG, often when they do pick the mag, they will actually pick the mag combo in the first phase. They had a mag jug open earlier in this tournament. Are we expecting something like that here, or do you want to keep our draft a little more flexible?
I just think it depends on kind of how they feel. I think mag jug is probably the best mag combo that there is out there. He lanes well against most heroes. He also gives you like tower pressure. Yeah. So it means like you don't just have to AFK farm when you have this Magnus now. If this Jug has a good game, he can run at towers and pressure them.
Also is good against Enchantress. You don't need to hit her in the early game to deal damage. You can just spin on her. Even your Omni Slash isn't affected by the passive. So you have kind of multiple ways to deal with her.
That was going to be my concern that I was going to bring up next, because Enchantress, as we've seen in this tournament, has just looked crazy in the laning phase, like so few answers to her. But is Jug one of those few carries that can sustain the offlane pressure? Jug's laning phase, at least recently to me, has looked a little bit weaker than it has been in the past.
I think it kind of depends what he lanes against. Against most heroes, he's okay. I think against Ench, it can be okay, but it also depends on what the Ench is paired up with. I think good picks for NEWBEE here would be, they often like Ogre with Ench, I believe. So that would be okay.
Oh, this is a hero, again, tied with Elder Titan for the most picked in this tournament, and I was shocked that it went all the way through the last phase, especially because it can be a flex pick for OG. This hero, like Soul Catcher in some of these games, especially against heroes like Alk, has looked flat out broken to me.
Yeah, it's a, I guess that means it's a, they can forward or 5 it on NEWBEE. I don't think their mid plays it like Thompson would.
No, absolutely not, absolutely not.
But for the Jug, they have nerfed him the past couple patches. He lost some movement speed, he lost some agility and strength, he lost some Blade Fury damage, so that lane is a little rough for him in the early game if he doesn't have a good kill for the Enchantress. The Enchantress, I think, has like a 35 or 40 movement speed advantage on him, so even with the boots on Jug, he can't really catch up to the And
when you talk about scaling, of course, into the late game, Shadow Demon, I think, is low-key. Like, you get that Ags going late. And even the 5 position Shadow Demon with some of the support gold mechanics is eventually going to get the Ags. That hero terrifies me in the late game.
The Shadow Demon hero is super strong right now. Both like every single spell. He has wave clear. You can burst people with Soul Catcher. His ulti makes a lot of hard carries like unplayable. And then obviously he has a save as well. Like the hero just feels very strong right now.
I think one of the coolest things with this pick in this draft is that it's going to purge the Empower from the Jug in the team fight permanently. So it's like if he runs it with Empower, he's going to get purged, and for the next 8 seconds, he's going to lose 50% of his damage.
And it is, just to mention for some of our newer viewers, that's kind of a unique mechanic. It is a continuously applied purge. So not only do you get rid of the Empower, but that Empower cannot then be recast on that Juggernaut throughout the duration of the SD ulti.
I think he also can't get phase boots, and then he can't get the drums if it's early game. So a lot of the Jugs things this game are already going to be a little bad against the Shadow Demon.
Absolutely. And you guys mentioned wave clear, by the way. We talked about in our panel the Bristleback having so much free space in the last game to farm the jungle. That is predicated. A lot of the teams in this tournament, you have to have wave clear from your supports or your 3 position to be able to support those cores going and farming neutrals. This is one of the big unique picks from OG. They have run this tree at the off-lane position. They've run this in the hands of Seb.
I know that they like Treant against Enchantress specifically. I know that, I mean, Ench has problems taking towers for the most part. She kind of needs another hero to help with it. And Enchantress, she kind of needs to take this enemy safe lane tower kind of early on. And then her best rotation is to defend your own safe lane tower. But if you have this Treant, you have a very high chance of just delaying these tower pushes, and then suddenly this Enchantress kind of just gets locked in one place. She keeps trying to push this tower.
I think it also opens their draft. If they want to put the tree in the off lane, if it's a good off lane, he can maybe sustain the lane there. And then this Magnus can go tri-lane bot with the Jug. If they get another stun, maybe. We've seen, I think, Witch Doctors with Jug, Rubik, stuff like that. Some 5, maybe even an Ogre here. A stun into Skewer into Spin is a kill on a hero usually.
I think that's a really good point. When you talk about playing against heroes like Enchantress, you have to have some flexibility to dodge those lane combinations. Speaking of flex picks, this Earthshaker, not completely out of the question, could be core. Probably in the hands of MSS, given that it's NEWBEE with the Enchantress bumped up to the 3 position.
I believe it's been played in all 4 different roles this tournament.
Yes, you are correct,
It's been played mostly as a 4.
Yep.
I know Mid One played it mid in a Secret Series, and then Miracle played it carry.
And it's been an off laner as well.
Yeah,
so yeah, this hero is, again, the burst damage potential, the control and long range initiation. It's been true for so many TIs now. This is a hero that seems to always come back at this point in the season.
Yeah, it gives you team fight, it gives you stuns. These kind of things are really good when there's high pressure. When there's a lot of pressure in your team to kind of make a move, if you're worried about like late game or team fights, you might walk up a high ground you won't. Or you might try to push a tower you don't need to. Or you might try to end the game you don't need to. And this big like team fight ultimates, these big stunners, when you catch a hero out, it kind of slows the game down, shuts the game down, and then you can kind of turn the game.
And the Chinese crowd, of course, getting in on one of our favorite pastimes from last year is Earthshaker banging the drum on the main stage. Yeah, I think that was one of my favorite moments in Vancouver, as well as Ogre, of course.
Claps, yeah.
Yeah. Easy clap.
We haven't seen much Ogre, I believe, in the main stage, have we?
Not compared to group stages, which is really odd. Again, a hero that it's been played mostly as core in this tournament, a hero that relieves that economic pressure with the multicast Midas.
So one of the interesting things I think is that in the group stage at the start, a lot of people were going a lot of armor items.
Right.
And now people are going more towards magical and these team fight spells a little more than in the group stage. So there's more like Earthshakers and like this Ogre hero. He was really good against his physical damage. If you were going Solar Crest, Basilius, Phase Boots, all these kind of things on these like heroes. And now that a lot more heroes are magic based, Ogre's kind of fallen out. This like 8 armor, 700 HP level 1 hero isn't really great anymore.
Wow, so the Grimstroke pick here is interesting because there are not that many single target spells on the side of OG. There's not necessarily that classic combo. We also didn't talk a little bit about, between this tree and the Magnus, Seb can't play both. So what do you think we're going to do with these 2 heroes in terms of personnel?
I'm guessing that Seb is going to play the Mag, and I think Jarex is going to play this tree. And I was kind of wondering what hero they were going for No-Tail here. But I think they were kind of just looking for a hero that deals magic damage, because I think they're very low on that right now. They have Jug, Mag, Treant. They're kind of just a lot of lockdown and physical damage. So I guess that was kind of their most comfortable pick.
Well, and initiation range. We talk about the initiation range potential of the Earthshaker. Grimstroke's another hero that gives you magic damage from way back in the back lines.
It's also a really scary tri-lane if they want to do it with a Grimstroke. if he puts Inkswell on either the Jug or Tree or Mag, there's these 3 melee heroes already for him. Any of them is going to get, like, you either punch from the tree line of a tree, you just spin on them with a Jug, you wrap around, skewer them back into you with the Mag. So I think either of those heroes can be their, you know, their force.
And what do you want against a hero, a support in the backline that's a little bit squishy? You want reach, and that's this Ember Spirit pick right here. He does have to worry a little bit about the silence coming out from the Grimstroke, but again, you can slide a fist to deal with that.
So this pick, I think, is a little scary this game because of the recent changes. Tree gives you a lot of roots, and the Grimwolf gives you a lot of root.
Yeah, that's true.
And now you can't slight out of roots anymore, and you cannot fire out of roots anymore. So there's a lot more of these mechanics that you can kind of get caught by. So I think it's still a good pick. It does well against tree armor. It does well against a Grim if you can ever jump in the back line. Even Jug, it's hard for him to omni. You can either disjoin it with your Sleight of Fist, or you can join it by, you know, jumping away. Even the Mag, you can kind of annoy, chain him in the back lane. He can't get blinks. So I like the overall pick, but I'd be scared if he gets caught out by these roots in the mid game.
Do you worry a little bit, like we started out talking about the Enchantress, about this is a hero that forms a foundation of a very solid laning phase. Do you worry a little bit about OG punishing the Ember in lane with their last pick in the hands of Thompson? Something like a Monkey King can just ruin Ember's life.
I mean, I think it's very likely, especially if NEWBEE now pick a hero that is kind of locked into the safe lane. I think something that would be good for them is if they have an open pick that can perhaps interchange with the Ember, of them both going into mid lane.
Maybe like a Gyro?
Something like that, because I think OG will for sure punish this Ember. If they know he's gonna be middle, they will counter pick him hard.
I think CCNC's gotten really good at the laning with Ember. A lot of players have practiced Ember versus Monkey matchups, and they kind of know the timings now. Like before level 3, the Jingu is actually really weak, so you can actually out-trade him with your Flame Guard. But once you hit level 3, level 4, you have to pull the wave into you. So I think they're going to be comfortable putting this Ember mid and knowing that CCNC is going to have a game.
All right, as we see the final pick coming out from NEWBEE, this is more than likely going to be a safe lane Sven in the hands of UR. Gunnar correctly calling that NEWBEE are comfortable with the CCNC Ember mid. Now is OG going to go for that counter pick in the hands of Thompson? Really, not many other teams have touched Monkey King in this tournament. Other picks that we're thinking about here?
Kind of looking right now. I'm not sure. I don't like Monkey that much here on this spot.
Okay. All right. There is the Monkey. Again, it's about the player. All right. So guys, really quickly, final thoughts on this draft here. Can NEWBEE even this series up?
I think they have the tools to do it, more so than the first game. I think CCNC is he's still on a playmaking hero. He was a Tiny last game. I think this is a playmaking hero that scales. Tiny, he scales, but you need 10,000 gold to scale. You need Ags and a Daedalus to kind of go into the mid-game physical damage, late game. But Ember, you need, you know, drums, Maelstrom, BKB.
All right. We've got game 2 just about to get underway, but first we got a special treat for you. Here is Casey, together with the guy that keyed OG's run at Epicenter, OG Coach Sakshka.
That's right. All right, so we always get the casters' opinions on the draft, but I want to hear from you yourself, how you feel about this compared to the draft in the first game.
I feel really good. We have our classic Mag draft, so yeah, 2-0.
Were you able to listen to how the guys were talking to each other in game for the game 1?
Yes, I was. It was really good. The communication was super hype, and it was a really cool game, so yeah.
What were your biggest takeaways from the first game?
Anayo?
Io's always good with you guys.
Yeah, it is definitely.
Well, best of luck. Thanks for chatting with us. We'll talk to you soon.
Thank you, guys.
Back to you guys.
I'm shocked. I'm baffled. Anna Io, the takeaway from game number 1. I think a large amount of confidence also. But game 2, no Anna Io. We're going to change it up. We're coming back to another one of the staples you're talking about from OG. It's the Seb Magnus. It's the buff up on the Juggernaut. It's Thompson Monkey King.
And it's good to hear from the coach that they like winning. That is
yeah.
always something you're not really sure about, and that you trust in your own best strategies and feel good when you get them.
Yeah.
So yeah, awesome.
So we feel
Sakshka was he was glowing. Right? He was glowing. He looked like he was having a great time. So if that's a reflection of what the team atmosphere is like, then OG are in a great spot right now. They just seem super happy, all of them. Yep. So all right, let's get into the game. As Sakshka pointed out, they do have their Magnus strat, and they did play the IO last game. So 2 of OG's absolute staples they have been given in this series. I still feel like this game will probably be closer than the previous one, because this should be something NEWBEE are more accustomed to playing against.
Yeah.
That's a bit more standard, if you will. And speaking of combo pick, they've got plenty of them themselves. They've got Snaking on his Enchantress, they've got the MSS Shaker, Ember Spirit for CCNC, Yawar, Sven, and Pilot Eye Shadow Demon. This is actually like, for these players, all of the heroes that they're playing are probably one of their 3 best that they have. So they're definitely comfortable too.
I'm also liking just seeing CCNC on an Ember Spirit. Like getting him into that playmaker role. There's not a huge amount of control against him, and you'll know CCNC will play it still defensively against OG, but it's that ability just to sync with the rest of his team, create that space, and if things go wrong, they can always back each other up. You've got multiple saves, be it through the SD, be it through, obviously, like Sven, he's got a lot of AoE control as well as having the war cry, but the bigger thing is MSS. Land a big Echo Slam and you actually have something to counter that initial fight that OG's looking for. And even if they don't have the perfect synergy with the Grimstroke, as a part like for the Soulbind, you still have that Inkswell. Fantastic with the Jug early on, but it works beautifully if Mag's able to get a big combination too.
And there's one thing, I don't know if they talked about this on the panel, but there's one thing about Shadow Demon against Magnus that's really interesting. If you Demonic Purge the Jugger, he can't get empowered for the whole duration. And that means if you enter a team fight and you manage to Demonic Purge the Jugger before he gets his ulti off, you have this 8-second span. Is it 8 or 7? 7? Yeah, 7. You have the 7-second span where Jugger's damage is way less significant. If you can get off to a good start that way in a fight, that could pay off big time.
And Thompson's right in the face of CCNC. He's trying to get as many of the stacks up as possible. And this is where I almost want to keep my eyes on, just watching how CCNC is able to handle this lane and handle Thompson. While Yawar's just burning bolt after bolt on bottom lane. This lane's a little bit harder to run. Jirax and Seb together, they're very tanky, they hit very hard, but Pilot plays from range. As long as Yawar's got mana, he can always have the stun available too. And then the safe lane, Ana and N0tail together, once again, this dual lane sync that OG gets so well in all their lanes.
The reason, by the way, that this Shaker Enchantress work so well together is that Enchantress is an extremely independent hero. Just give her a little bit of help and she can solo pretty much any dual lane in the game.
So
MSS gets freedom to move and doesn't have to steal too much experience from the offlaner.
He can't really help kill the mid lane though. Like this isn't like you're running like a burst style hero with chain stuns. Like CCNC goes second point up in Flame Guard now. MSS gonna send in the illusions. He actually potentially could have body blocked up the courier. And now with a fissure stun, CCNC, they're bringing him low. Thompson gets a life steal up again, but they're just trying to burn him out. The fissure wall is gonna break in just a couple of seconds. Thompson, he's gonna live through this. No way, they can't let this happen. Start a fist up cooldown right now. CCNC, he claims the first blood against OG. And NEWBEE, they needed a win like this. They needed something to go their way. One game down, and that's a good start, but it's just the start.
And that was a super close call too. They almost couldn't kill him even with a full duration Flame Guard being on top of him.
Wow, that's a lot of damage from Yawar into Jirax. Pilot dies, already got the poison stacks up. Jirax will go invis quickly. That's just Stormhammer. MSS is arriving. Jirax is fine inside the tree lines. He has stick charges available as well as well, he's being a cannibal right now, eating tangos. They really want to have a crack at bottom. If MSS... Actually, can they? There's no mana on Sven. He doesn't have a stun available.
CCNC.
And CCNC, for all that great work he does, he's still playing against Thompson. He gets his own back.
That's really bad news because as the panel talked about earlier, when it comes to comeback kills, if you're behind in this mid lane and you get a return kill, you're leading. And at this point, Monkey King is now far ahead in the lane. He's going to hit level 5 before the Ember Spirit of CCNC, and he's probably going to be relegated to the jungle relatively early. Thompson's going in. They will get Fissure. Are they just going to be trading kills, these guys?
Yeah, they're getting a bit of jump, but my god, MSS.
He got him on the wrong side.
Yeah, that's a melee hero, guys. Thompson, he's asking to hold hands with CCNC while up on the top. Snaking's in trouble. Has to trigger off Nature's attendance as Ana and N0tail did their combination. Bottom lane, the root's out. Yawar trying to move back. Pilot die. He hasn't have a save. He's already used the disruption. And they're almost out of consumables. MSS will arrive in the lane. They're pinging out Jirax, but I don't think they can really do anything there. There's one Stormbolt available for Sven.
And MSS, he had the right idea in mid. Both times he's ganked, he's tried to fake out the fissure so that it doesn't get dodged, as Snaking should be okay here.
Yeah, couldn't get the body block absolutely perfect. There's that fight on bottom. So they waited a long time for it. And committed those abilities we were looking for.
CCNC
Thompson's
again.
going again.
Yeah.
He won't even die to the tower. He switches the aggro at the very last moment. So only got to hit once by the tower.
And you see he's making use of the mischief. That's what MSS did well when he ganked mid, is that he fakes out the mischief on the fissure so that it doesn't dodge the damage. But the last fissure was on the wrong side. Thompson gets another kill, and now
he's a beast.
What do you do in mid? This is a big problem. This is a Monkey King that won its lane, has top CS in the game, and has Empower. Thompson is already 1,000 gold ahead in the mid lane.
2.8k net worth compared to the 1.8k of Sven. That's the difference between the number ones of OG and NEWBEE. And now you look for the bounty runes. And it will be a 2-2 trade-off. Thompson gets 4 stacks, CCNC has to back off. MSS will drop down the observer ward, and they may try and work here with Pyjamas. If Thompson gets a little aggressive, which, hey, it's Thompson. MSS is the fissure, but Thompson hits the first attack. He's going to wait the fissure out. NOTEL's also arrived, and Thompson mischief once again. MSS, now the fissure block, holds in NOTEL as well as Thompson. The poison stack's good over on Thompson, but they can go for the other kill. NOTEL, a quick sleight of fist from CCNC will claim it, but they don't get the one they're looking for. They don't get Thompson. He's going to salve up and get ready to go once more.
He's drawing so much attention to himself that Ana just has a completely free game right now on the Juggernaut.
So does Seb.
When Enchantress hits level 6, actually never mind, because NOTEL rotating off of top relieved some pressure from Snaking, and when Snaking gets level 6, this lane is not inhabitable for Juggernaut anymore. Fortunately, he can jungle with Empower, so he's probably going to be connecting with Seb relatively soon when Seb has level 3 Empower. Maybe they will start playing a little bit closer to each other, because this top lane is not fun anymore.
A little bit of wasted time of Thompson hunting inside the jungle. If he caught Yawar, it would have been great. But MSS forever just trying to make life a little bit more difficult for OG. Defensive spirits are up for CCNC. So unless they get perfect control, CCNC should always have a get out of jail free card. Bottom lane underneath the tier 1 tower. Yawar just TPs away. That leaves Pyjamas. He's looking for some kind of rebuttal onto Seb. Creates a couple of copies of Ana. That's probably the most amount of damage Pyjamas can do here. But into a spin, Ana around the tower. Pyjamas won't be able to survive. While in mid lane, they keep on going. Thompson and NOTEL together. Spirit jump forward from CCNC. Doesn't have the defense anymore. And MSS can't actually cast a fissure, so Yawar has to come in. Monkey King, the stun control. MSS is trying to be there for it, but Thompson still getting the run into the trees. Cuts his way around. Of course he can. NOTEL with the slow. CCNC, he's not done yet. He still wants more. TP back, bottle up, but Thompson's too fast. He's going to walk back to the tier 1 tower.
And that is space with capital S, created in mid by NOTEL as well as Thompson. They're forcing so many defensive rotations out of NEWBEE, and that's going to cost them their bottom tower. They rotated Ana down here and gave him Empower so that he took that, and he's going to keep his farming going.
Snake
the
really
uninhabitable lane, yeah, they'll plant a tree end up here. And
Actually got so much damage from Snaking.
He's fine.
Yeah, he is for the moment. Jirax's going to look for the denial on the tower, and Radiant, no, it's going to be the catapult that gets the last hit, while MSS catches out NOTEL walking up. Understanding that that first little bit of damage from the Enchantress had NOTEL so low.
It's a good grab from NEWBEE. They need to get something going their way. The only lane that has truly gone well this game is Snaking's, so they playing around him, getting his tower is very useful. And you imagine, I don't think this is the kind of game where you just want your Enchantress to sit in the off lane and just stay up here for like 10 minutes, just pressuring the top tower. I think he needs to get involved for his team's sake to get the mid tower and put some pressure on the Monkey King. CCNC diving pretty far here with Flame Guard, but just cleaning up the wave and he'll be jumping out in no time.
It's like he's now trying to bring the attention, get it off the side lanes, get it away from the recovering Sven, away from, well, I suppose the Enchantress, who's still just adding the pressure up on top lane. Feels like I'm watching Ice play. It's like, yeah, so I took the tier 1 tower, I'm still not going to leave.
He'll stay here a little bit, but then I still think the mid rotation is the play to make. Oh, they're going to go for him instead.
Yeah, Thompson's moving in. The observe ward was planted, but won't matter. Snaking triggers off the attendants. Difficult for Thompson to build up these stacks, however, but NOTEL will slow him down. They'll get the stuns out as the Inkswell will connect, but Enchantress still healing through everything. Double braces, and Thompson at least mischief dodge one of the imps, but in mid lane, CCNC jumping in, has no searing chain, so he can't hold Seb there. Needed MSS's stun to connect, but it won't happen.
He's putting some really good aggressive pressure though, forcing rotation from OG and getting some tower damage in soon for hopefully for him. But yep, guess what? We didn't talk about this, but JRX can heal towers this game. So if you want to grab towers, you need a successful teamfight move that overwhelms the opponent. This chip damage is not mattering too much.
This is a nice observer and sentry up on top. If JRX runs to the northern trees, he'll be fine. If he runs to the southern trees, won't be as great. MSS gonna have to future block him up, then Snaking is able to claim this quite simply. And CCNC is just going for supports as well. No-Tel into the tier 2. Again, no Searing Chains, however. He's got the Sleight of Fist, but needs to burn No-Tel down a little bit more before that'll be successful. And very deep, but it won't matter. But you'll always know there's an escape way for CCNC.
Bounty runes, 2 for 2 it looks like. CCNC trying to get the bottom rune. Lots of pings coming out from No-Tel, but his team is too late. They're not in position.
It's a nice one for CCNC, a double damage rune. And he's still going to do the TP back to base.
Got himself some nice gold here from the couple of kills. He had a very, very hard start. And he is still behind the Monkey King, but this could have snowballed out of control if they didn't make the correct adjustments. And at least now it looks like CCNC will be having a game.
Perfect.
And Seb's the man who has to hold the tower, faking the RP out. There's no way he's going to trigger that until Thompson comes in range. Now he might do it. CCNC, the RP will go down. Flame Guard's protecting him nicely. Have they got the start of control? CCNC does go down. The vision from MSS comes a second too late. And Seb perched up, just skewers himself back to the safety of the tier 1 tower. Seb, you know he's smiling himself at the booth right there. I faked you once and you thought I was going to fake you a second time. Definitely not what happened.
If he had a mid lane ward, he wouldn't have died, because then he knows the Monkey King is connecting. OG were banking on the fact that Thompson was not visible running down the lane, and that was indeed the case. There was no vision for NEWBEE in that instance, and they didn't have any defensive supports there, and none of the two were there. Monkey King
comes out, Snaking, got to get the hell out of there. Man, that looks beautiful. Thompson, now Snaking's actually with the attendants, thinking about fighting inside the command. With a TP support arriving, no Wukong, no RP available. They still don't push the tier 1 tower because they haven't pushed it. The living armor still kicking in. And what does OG do? They smoke up, they're moving south. Seb and No-Tel gonna try and combo up here with No-Tel, with Ana.
The No-Tel combo.
Yeah. It's just Meepo in real life.
I'm ready for it. Yeah. I mean, Ana's been...
That's,
Omni Slash?
That's a lot of damage, and Yawar dead under the tier 1 tower. Level 1 Omni, but totally isolated Sven.
That should not be happening. That's a huge kill too. Furthering the space between these two carries. Ana got 400 gold for that kill, and Sven obviously on the sidelines for 30 seconds, not farming a single bit of gold, as Ana is clearing out an Ancient stack, so he's overtaking the Sven now by 1,500.
And it's just all the economy going the way of OG. Experience is cracking 3 grand. What do you really get in return? JRX can just keep hiding inside the trees. Unless someone's bringing in dust. And it looks like MSS will be the man to do that. But he's right underneath the Dire Observer Ward. So JRX sees it all.
He's level 4 living armor. Level 8 on the Treant. There's been so much space created for multiple heroes, really, in OG's lineup. It's not just the Jugger that's enjoying some freedom. The Treant getting freed up and getting all this farm to working toward a Meteor Hammer, getting the 4 levels in armor to protect towers.
Really, Seb? Drops the Legion loser, baits out once again, fakes the RP. And CCNC just looking for some early harassment, but he's realizing that tower, all the hard work he did before, it's all gone to waste.
And that's the logic of playing this Treant and Magnus together, right? There's multiple synergies. One is Mag wants to play slow, so he needs his map protected while you're farming up. You have the Treant protectors to keep the towers alive. And the other thing is, well, you've got the living armor and a power for your carry, so you make your carry really strong. JRX is in trouble top, but it's going to overgrowth, run away. Once again, just making space for OG to hit that timing later.
Amber scouts out No-Tel. RP is back off cooldown for Seb. They're really waiting out this mid. Thompson will move over too. Buffed up by the Empower, ready to fight. ES hides in the tree line. Thompson jumps in. Now ES gets the double stun and space to move back, pick up the regeneration rune. Snaking, however, caught and pushed back to the other side of the fissure. You can't attend that position.
NEWBEE's lineup can't get this tower. It's actually, I just don't think it's possible right now.
Yeah.
The mid tower is going to be exceptionally hard to take. The Sven needs time to farm. The living armor and the just overall defensive team fight from OG is super strong. Like if you go into any dangerous area, you could get overgrowth, you could get RP'd, you could get skewered, and you're even fighting against a Monkey King that could be in the trees. So there's so much. It's almost like playing against techies if heroes are missing. Like you don't know where you're safe at all in this game with both the Treant and Monkey King in this hidden mobility, ready to jump you at any point.
And Seb's making it so difficult to battle that bottom rune out. CCNC still able to claim it, walks into Ana, realizing he's so low. There is the Omnislash with the Sleight of Fist. He's burning through it, and Ana, Spirit Jump away. Wastes the ultimate.
I think he had to do to stay alive.
Yep.
He had to threaten CCNC away from him with a really nice slight dodge on the Phantom's Embrace.
Looks like they're going to try and fight.
Yeah.
Away
now there's
from
no
dive
Omnislash.
vision.
And they know there's no RP.
And CCNC wants to get in there. Like, he's got drums up and running. Paradise got purged. They're looking for a target. Thompson's probably going to be it. He pounces up into the tree lines. No tell. Well, he'll have to turn into it. Able to get the double stun off. Ember Spirit, Sleight of Fist coming off cooldown right now. No tell can't walk away. He knows it. But now, if you're going to commit to this NEWBEE, they have to take the tower.
They can't get this tower.
They can't. TP's already coming in. Doubles in. Ana through the back lines. He doesn't have the Omni Slash, but with the control stunts, the save from Pilot Eye is essential. OG, the Rune, Jirax catches out 3. CCNC, there's no way out. He's got no mana. He's totally dry and dead. And OG love it. That's now the 4th death on this mid of NEWBEE. While theirs is sitting on 5 kills for 1 death.
And the game, OG will just continue playing at the same pace. Oh, Disruption. Seb still got the rune.
He did.
And now Pilot Eye's dead because he used Disruption.
Yeah. Actually, almost looked like Seb grabbed that while he was inside the Disruption. Ana looking for his own kill. Stun onto the Enchantress. Ana knows he's got the level 4 spin. It's the damage that doesn't care about physically attacking in, while Seb hiding under the Invis rune. He's just out of range of the tower, but if he RPs, he'd instantly kill off CCNC. But he's playing the max range of that tower's detection. And the other pings are coming up towards top lane. Yoa farming up quite heavily, but as Jirax, who's stalking him, the sentry wall will be planted. Yoa, he knows he's in trouble. He has to TP instantly, but Thompson's already here. Yoa should not be able to escape this. Thompson up into the trees. Yoa actually cuts him down quickly, tries to juke. He's going right instead of left, but the stun from Thompson checks right. And Yoa into the Wukong. Nope, he's going to Stormhammer it. Cancel that one, but now Seb, man, they just want to burn ultimates. Dropping the RP, bringing down Yoa. And maybe now NEWBEE go for the tier 1 tower. Nope, denied again. And this is a goofy lineup from OG. They're everywhere.
Yeah, you've got to try as NEWBEE in this situation to set up a team fight with Shaker being successful, but he went for the mana boots, which makes his big Blink Dagger build up a lot slower. And because of that, NEWBEE, their options of setting up those fights in the first place are pretty weak, right? If you can't force the enemy team to defend very easily because you don't have pushing power, they can kind of take it slow, farm camps, play the map, and then, oh, top lane at CCNC.
They're going again, but defensive. Spirit gets him out.
Not sure what Thompson was expecting.
It's like a snort. Man, this guy runs away from me.
I'll be signing autographs out front.
Maybe later today you will, Thompson.
But OG are completely in their element in this game. They have a huge lead. They're playing with Magnus. They're going to go late game. They have 2 melee cores that both use Empower. And one of them is... I feel like Monkey King is really good against Sven just because it's hard for Sven to navigate the arena. And even if he does and fights into the Monkey King, you have all this armor.
Eyes found the target. It's going to be Seb. They're trying to slow him down with the Purge. Snaking will arrive, throwing out the impetus, but man, the mech gives some extra life. Snake is going to work a little harder for this. And then in towards Ana. Keep in mind, he has the Omni Slash available. Everyone not totally trapped, but they know they can't kill him because you're just going to the Omni Slash. So CCNC feels like he's trying to bait the Omni Slash once again. But Ana doesn't care. He's got living armor. He's got 21 charges. He's got Diffusal Blade of his own as well, and he knows exactly where the Spirit is planted down by CCNC. So he goes Diffusal, into Snaking, MSS gonna walk in, needs to land in that double stun, just goes for the Echo Slam, straight onto N0tail. They can at least bring down the support while the disruption of Ana. N0tail, he is brought down by the Impetus, and Nami with a huge kill. Being out, he's able to escape. They needed him so bad. They get nothing.
Oh, they get a Grim.
They get, okay, they got something, but it's like getting a board game after playing on Wheel of Fortune. It's not what you're really searching for.
That's a pretty good analogy, actually, what just happened.
Thompson jumps down, around, looking for Snaking. Trying to put that Echo Save to work, but Fisher blocks him in, but a 3-man stun into the Wukong and the RP! Everything together! Layer it like a cake! OG, they would love to get CCNC too, but he will Spirit away. God, it's just too easy. Are they even trying?
Yeah, they set them up for that one, to be honest. I don't think that play had any chance of being successful out of NEWBEE. But it's so easy for us to say, right? Because they're probably feeling a bit desperate too. They're like, if we don't make any plays, we lose, and if we make plays, we lose. So
it's like we need to try something.
Something has to happen, but I just don't think it's possible without the Sven. You probably have to wait for this guy's timing to get something done.
RP and Wukong's down. MSS is coming over. CCNC is going to have a look in the pit. They see the status of Roshan. A quick silence out. The Phantom's embrace from N0tail. Stun in the back line. Pylight Eye. Actually, just Magnus really caught out. Skewers back over. Joins the rest of his team. Gets a 5-man mech, and MSS is trapped. He can't do much more. Now the Omni Slash up the hill. Well, it's all going to go into Yawar. He can tank through that. Ana, of course, he's got more survivability. Into the spin. NEWBEE still on the retreat back out. Snaking trying to do some level of damage, making Ana a lot lower. Snaking needs to keep the distance up. Thompson, in the meantime, killing a VS in the back lines, but now they go for more. Hold them together. It's all the embrace of death that NEWBEE just have to accept. Underneath their own expired shrine, they go down. And Thompson's not done yet. He wants more. But hey, go back for Roshan. Objective-based gaming.
And OG are making it look easy. It's not as easy as it looks. But strategically, I feel like they've really got control of the game, and there's so much in this game that depends on tempo. That's how every Magnus game is. It's can you get those 2 towers so that the enemy can't farm their jungle safely with Empower? Can you counter the core that is getting the Empower in the first place? And NEWBEE's tempo, when you look at their lineup, it comes from mid. CCNC needs to have a good game for things to happen here, and he didn't. So now they have to wait for Sven to have a good game, which he also isn't having. So it's a lot of waiting. It's a lot of hard fights to take.
They have to get the farm into MSS. 100 gold for the Blink Dagger.
Yep.
Then maybe they stand a chance. BKB set for Yawar. Like, if these things are up, then there's a possibility. But there's also a possibility Thompson can just initiate in on whoever the hell he wants to as well. Takes the tier 2 tower.
Has the Aghanim's Echo Saber build. Putting it to use here.
Yeah, straight to the Wukongs. SD's coming over. Needs to get the defensive disruption over on Snaking. Purchase Thompson instead. CCNC thinks about having a play. Thompson's on the edge of the tree and leaps away to safety.
Forces rotation again.
Yep. CCNC just bouncing around the lanes.
OG just have complete map control. Even though NEWBEE have wards out, it feels like they can't use the wards to get a fight going their way. And OG, okay.
Yeah.
They're just gonna go high ground. They don't have Aegis.
You got Thompson with an Aegis Immortal, so hey, just go for it.
What am I talking about? They have an Aegis.
Fisher catching out on 3. MSS still waiting for the perfect blink. Echo! There he goes! Only breaks the Aegis Immortal, but hey, it's something. You'll take it. But Jirax, he's into the back lines. They see him now over in the trees. He sees so much too. Snaking, still trying to be that front liner for the team. Watch those buybacks if it's going to be possible. The stun on Magnus, actually cancelling off the RP, so he can't get it off, but there's no buybacks available for the 2 NEWBEE deaths. And they need Snaking to have that bigger damage, so then Yawar and CCNC. Time to step up for the BKB. It's worn off, and it goes back to the fight with the Diffusal. They're purging on Thompson. Maybe with the damage from CCNC, they can actually get a little bit more out of this. Sleight of fist. Finally, Thompson's streak will be ended. Jirax is low as well. CCNC, we get back-to-back kills. Ana, Searing chained up. Paradise, what else have you got? Another slide. It's getting rid of the creep wave. At least they're keeping their racks alive here, NEWBEE. But they won't get much more. A great sleight of fist dodge, just dodging the Inkswell of Ana. The tier 3 tower is still taken. OG, it wasn't the perfect fight from them. You got a side of fist searing. Oh, in the trees. Not quite right, but...
For a second there, I thought Ana was maybe going to stop his TP and try to turn that. CCNC was super low on mana, but...
You wouldn't put it past him.
They got out there. No, I wouldn't have been too surprised, but yeah. NEWBEE, they do defend. That was honestly a really good hold by countering out the Magnus RP, not allowing it to come off this fissure. And, well, not this one, the next one. That's the Aegis. OG are going to reset. And then they decide to go in. And they're going in here without Wukong's command and without the Aegis that they just lost. And they forced an Echo out with that. And this Stormhammer, it's kind of lucky. He's actually skewing into the Stormhammer, so they get the time to react and get the fissure off. And that's the defense.
You see the ability for Yawar to actually stand in the protection of the BKB, but after that it's just so hard. Ana coming up. Well, I think OG have marked this territory. Ana will be fissure blocked in. Thompson, however, he doesn't care. Yawar has to BKB. Such pressure and maneuverability. The draft battle was like, well, you know what? I don't really like the monkey here, but it doesn't matter when Thompson's playing it. You pick it for the player. And my God, has he shined on this hero. He even gave away the death in the mid lane. Then after that, it's like, no, you had something, but now you have nothing.
Oh, the death ended up favoring him because he got a kill right after, right? If he the moment he gets the solo kill on CCNC, the lane is a big win for him.
Is that to say, like, intentional feat?
That's not what I'm saying.
Let's not go that far.
That's not what it looked like.
Blink Echo's off cooldown, but it's still only level 1, and...
Py's dead, I think.
Yeah, it's a little bit problematic. Creates a disruption over on Jirax. Vici tries to create some more space, and maybe they can get this kill into the tree and protect before he can get the overgrowth off. Able to do so, so Jirax is down. Thompson into the Wukong's command, but very much away from the rest of NEWBEE as they just wait out the Soulbind. Thompson doesn't want to leave just yet. CCNC, who's his target? Ana into the Omnislash, but the Yule Scepter is wasting all of it. The RP will catch out CCNC, but defensive disruption. Pyjamas got it off just in time with the Inkswell, the stun control, maybe with the Stormhammer. Yawar, it's time to go big or go home. He's looking for the cleave damage, but Ana, he closed the distance over on Snaking. Yawar, everyone's just delta split. They can't catch him out. He gets rooted to the ground. And the buybacks that came in from NEWBEE, they want to fight around the shrines, but now it's going to be Pyjamas-Falling. Thompson's gone after MSS for a triple kill from him, and it'll be Ana who'll claim the life in a double kill against Pyjamas. And Seb, he's also looking for his own fight. Everyone's having their own engagements. CCNC trying to bring down Seb. It won't be enough though. The Yule Scepter up. My bad indeed. Skewers through it. Great side of fist. CCNC is actually going to claim that life. But they're hunting. Diffusal Blade. Spirit defensively up and back with the sleight of fist searing chains. He's just trying to play the game until he's got his TP buff cooldown in 5 seconds time. Fortification will stop OG from instantly assaulting the base. And NEWBEE, they're playing scrappy, but they're playing still.
OG's fights are so good. The way they're positioning their heroes, the way they're playing off each other, using cooldowns correctly. Even though the Thompson Wukong command isn't that good there, it creates so much space and so much time for the rest of the team to be set up for success. And they just keep weaving in and out, not stacking on top of each other. Until the Sven Stormhammer in the end, there was like no opportunity really presented for NEWBEE in that fight. And a nice detail from CCNC on the way out there. At least they have that going for them, which is nice, but it's a very minor consolation prize to have your mid-hero survive and get 1 kill there.
This is just one of those games where you've got to kind of remain optimistic for both sides. So let's have a look at this once again. So Pyjamas, it all starts with him being initiated on, but they catch out Jirax at the beginning. And you feel like maybe you didn't have to expend too much. The Wukongs didn't really catch anybody, and the Soulbind waited out, yet still they have enough to keep the fight going.
The Treant bought back and reconnected with the fight. He has living armor for Thompson, keeping him that extra bit safe. They get the RP, which doesn't give them the kill because of a good defensive disruption, but that defensive disruption puts Pyjamas in an awful position.
Here we go again. Ana? MSS is wondering if there's extra help. He waited this out as long as possible. Ana can start the spin. The living arm will give some protection. Purge up as quick as they possibly can, but now the spin is going to wear off. CCNC still going to slide a fist and then just spirit away to safety because Thompson, in he comes with a jump down. Pyjamas instantly killed off. This is not a game when you want to be a support. With a war cry, they create a little bit of extra space. Snaking looking for his own damage. Is there that blink echo? They're waiting for it out as Ana already back into a spin.
He's so safe with that healing ward. Absolutely no problem. OG lost nothing there. They get the kill on the Shadow Demon. They used no big spells, so all ultis ready. Could try to start protecting Roshan. He can spawn in 20 seconds. Just get control of that area. Looks like what N0tail is drawing right now. So we're going to play up here. Keep pushing in the top lane if possible, perhaps. Maybe they're going to cut waves with Thompson.
You got Roshan that could spawn in 10 seconds time, so controlling the northern side.
Yep. Thompson's going to cut the wave.
There is no gank that comes the opposite direction, because that really feels like NEWBEE's last hurrah. OG, overconfident, sit inside the pit, you just hit this amazing echo, and actually give space for Yawar to do damage during that control. But he can't be the only one. Yawar doesn't have the damage output required to get through this OG lineup. CCNC, oh, he's actually able to grab one of the 30-minute runes. May get 2 of them. Hey, you'll take the money. That's enough for Uzmyolnya, but he won't have buyback available if he does it.
It kind of feels like one of those games where Ember needs to go physical damage. I don't know if they can kill the Jugger and deal with the massive AoE teamfight of OG if they don't have heavy burst. Maybe the magic burst can be enough. You're obviously making the enemy team giving them a lot more value out of armor if both Sven and Ember are doing physical damage. But you still have the pure damage of Enchantress, and you have the magic damage of Shaker.
And Paladai was really lucky to survive that. Jirax's blink came just a fraction of a second too late. And NEWBEE's doing the best they possibly can. Seb pulls back. Wait, those trees regrew very quickly. You skew it through them and they instantly spawn back up. It's like a little pop-up book.
Actually, I take it back. I don't think physical damage is a solution either. That's one of Juggernaut's biggest strengths. He has 50 armor. The itemization options for CCNC, there's nothing that feels amazing. There's just, he's gonna get this Mjolnir so he gets more damage. Overall, like more mixed damage. Has maybe we'll get some value out of the static shield. I forgot what it's called. It's not called static shield. Static charge, right? Static charge. I think it's called static charge. But the guy who has to deal damage here and kill this Jugger is actually snaking, I think. That's the biggest damage source they have. But Jugger now with the butterfly is going to have all the evasion. He's going to get maybe an Aegis, unless they give it to Thompson's Monkey King again, which I wouldn't put past them. He's way less tanky than the Jugger. He needs it a lot more. And maybe you just give the cheese over to Seb. So far it's backpack for Ana.
Smoke came very late. You saw Snaking actually turn around after Roshan died. They're 4-man smoking out. They're looking for an opportunity. Jirax, he's hunting CCNC. Thompson about to bounce forward. The smoke breaks on the Enchantress, but they have to kill off Jirax so quickly. Yawar, BKB, God's Strength, they're going to be able to do so. So down goes Jirax. No buyback available, but in the backlines, Snaking, the man that has to do the damage, is stuck inside the Wukong's command. With the stun from N0tail, they'll hold him there. Snaking tanks through a lot, but he can't tank through all of it. CCNC, no defensive spirit available. He has the Yule Scepter, silenced up for the moment, needs a little bit more space to work with, and that's why up, down, and around. The stun from N0tail won't be able to reach, but he'll be able to hit. No, he doesn't hit with the Stroke of Fate. Another banishment by Pyjamas. Buyback may be needed here from Seki. RP catching out Yawar. He had no BKB. He had no goal strength. He had no real presence. They can buy back, but they've lost CCNC. Thompson just did it solo underneath the racks, which they're looking to take now. Fortification slows down the push from OG, but it definitely won't stop it. And look, he's even with the double damage rune on the end of Ana. Was thinking about tier 4 towers, but okay, back to reasonable objectives is going to be the mid. Not pulling an RV right now. Take all the objectives, get the megas up and running. Good stun. Good Seb. just wanted to have a closer inspection of Shadow Demon. Fissure stun out over on Thompson. Now, again, Mischief. Such a problem for Snaking to keep hitting that impetus. Pilot Eye. Disruption. Now the impetus can go out towards Ana. He'll jump away, Storm Bolt, Thompson, he's in real deep. Remember, Aegis the Immortal, he's happy to tank it through as long as they can get a rebuttal kill. Ana sent up and towards the air. Snake is getting some time to heal up. He's got 9 1 charges and he needs that time. Does Pilot Eye have another disruption? No, it was 1 second away. He's stuck around. Now all he can do is just disrupt the attacking Ana. Snaking back into his damage, over to Monkey King. They really want Thompson dead. He's such a huge chunk of the damage as Ana runs forward, can't get the Inkswell stun out, but he'll have the Omniside.
Oh my,
Together you are! Together you stand, together you die, and together you GG! NEWBEE are out, OG have knocked them down to the lower bracket. in more than dominating fashion. You banned the IO, which dominated in game 1. We just come back. The Zeb Classic Magnus, Thompson styling, and OG looking in the same type of form. They were there in the last TI. And they want to carry that whole way through this upper bracket. No drop downs.
And NEWBEE might be kicking themselves a little bit after the series as far as the first phase strategy went. They gave them the IO in game 1, they got destroyed. In this game, they gave over the Seb Mag. And especially this game is worth talking about from a strategic standpoint in the first phase, because they banned, what was it? And they banned the IO, the Chen, and then they had +1 ban. And that could have been the Mag, and they could have still first picked the Ench. But they chose to ban the support Invoker. Yeah. I don't know if they have played against this from OG and feel like it's a really big threat, but OG have a lot of really good strategies. You got to choose which one you give away. This time they give away the Mag, and OG made it look... I said this game would be more comfortable for NEWBEE than the first one. It was still really hard, but yeah.
Yeah, man, OG made this look so easy. I wonder how long it will be until they're tested. What team can do it? Maybe it's one of the next two they'll be playing here on the main stage.
A 2-0 win then for OG Esports, 12 months on. Some things change and some things stay exactly the same, and that's exactly what we've had in this upper bracket. A repeat of last season's quarterfinal upper bracket, exactly the same result. OG cruising through, guaranteed top 6 position cap, and looking in imperious form as well.
Oh, they just dominated this NEWBEE squad, man. And this is a team that, you know, looking through their DPC season, just wasn't that hot. Didn't expect them to be able to come in and just be able to easily get top 6. There was no hesitation there. That was just a clean 2-0. And I love that Synderen pointed out. The OG has demonstrated so many strategies. That's the beauty of this team. They're super smart like that. You have to actually choose one of the things that they're super good with to give away, because you can't ban it all.
Yeah, got too much, Grant, haven't they?
They definitely do. They talked about the Seb Magnus, even the Thompson Monkey King, right? Some of the core players are saying this is like one of the worst core heroes in the game, and they just last pick it, and it completely dominates the entire game.
Yeah, it does dominate the game. Brian, it's funny actually. Grant should mention the Thompson mode, because we were kind of admiring it, weren't we? We were looking at it, and he was doing some great stuff early game, and it's kind of, you made the point. They've got this switch, sure, at 15 to 20 minutes, but the reason they've got that switch is because of some of the stuff, the subtle stuff that they do early on, which you're going to take us through a couple of these. We call them the Houdinis of OG.
Absolutely. We got one from game 1 and one from game 2. And the first game, we got Ana early on in the game. There's a 4-man rotation, and this is your perspective. And it looks so simple almost when you watch it from the bird's eye view, where we all see exactly what's going on. And he manages to just draw all this attention to his lane and just escape scot-free. This is how you get that massive advantage. And we're going to pause right here, where you can see that NEWBEE loses vision of him for a split second. And he knows that all the abilities are going to be thrown in this specific area, and he jukes to the side to dodge everything. And that's what he's abusing the Radiant Vision such that he can escape these ganks narrowly. And we're going to see the exact same thing coming out from Thompson in game 2 of this series in the mid lane. 3-man rotation, forcing reactions to their lane. This is the bird's eye view once again. This looks like a simple ring around the trees. And then when we pause it from NEWBEE's perspective, they lose vision of him right up. I lost it on my screen. They lose.
Don't worry. No,
yeah, they lost vision of him right when he went into the trees. They collapsed on him from all 3 directions, and he took the one way out.
Dude, I didn't even know.
Block.
Like, I love like those as they call them, the demon juke spots, right? Like he did it. I've never seen that one in the mid lane where you just cut that one tree and you circle around it. I was like, holy.
I think the best part of that was the way BSJ explained it. I actually didn't need to see the screen. I just listened to the way he explained it, and I could see it in my mind. It was really cool.
Yeah, and as I said, it's just one of the little things, Brian, isn't it, that they do in that early game that are just, you might even overlook them most of the time. You know, not even that significant, but it's not a coincidence. That kind of Houdini act happens almost every game for them on Ana
it's
or
why
Thompson
they're up
or
at,
both.
It's why they're even or up at 15 minutes, and suddenly they turn that into the lead they have.
NEWBEE aren't a bad side, Cat, but they've been made to look pretty ordinary in this game. They're better than that, though, aren't they?
No, they certainly are. It's just OG's an incredible team. Whether or not they have the confidence to be able to go through the lower bracket is going to be a good question for them. The mentality of this team and how far they can go after they've been knocked down. I mean, you heard MSS, and he's laughing around during the interview talking about, like, I'm surprised we even made top 8 because we were making so many mistakes. When you don't actually get to succeed, when you don't make that top 8 position, when you get knocked down, how well are you going to be able to come back up? And for me, I am suspicious as to whether or not NEWBEE's going to be able to maintain a good, strong mental approach in the lower bracket.
And Grant, we've talked about this a little bit yesterday, but I want to bring it up again because there's so many similarities with this upper bracket as there was last year. They're almost all of them facing the same mental task again, which second time around, that's got to be harder, isn't it?
It has to be, especially like because you already know you've been beaten once, so you are the one who has to make the change. And obviously, they didn't make the change. And we saw in the game 1, they gave up the IO. Game 2, they gave up the mag, and that just goes back to how versatile they OG are. And I don't know. It's just going to be tough for NEWBEE. They have to go down. Now they have to play kind of an inter-regional opponent in Infamous later, and that's going to be, honestly, just as tough for them.
And OG marching on, Brian. Top 6 guaranteed. They seem to be playing with a kind of abandon, really. They just don't care about anything. They're enjoying life. They're enjoying the game. They're enjoying each other. You saw them smiling and laughing with each other. It's hard to imagine what could stop them other than themselves now.
Yeah, I just love how they could pass the torch to any player. We saw last year at the TI Finals, Seb carrying Game 4, Ana carried Game 2, Thompson carried Game 1 here.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. The strategies they have, some teams have kind of focused on one player being the all-star, but they just throw it in the hands of whoever is appropriate to carry that specific game.
The best part for me is the storyline that continues as they move farther. They're going to match up against either Evil Geniuses, oh, that's a spicy one, or Team Secret.
Please, you're making me too excited. Things need to be, we need to be rescued. Casey, help us out, please. Who have you got over there?
I have Seb. Seb! Is that old now? Like, I should find something new.
No, I don't think it's old.
No?
Like, I'm still enjoying it, actually.
I was really proud of myself. I'm gonna seem pretty cool here. And then I thought,
No,
no,
you are really cool right now.
Well,
You're being the coolest.
Thank you, Seb.
Yes, you're welcome.
There is such a sense of comfort that it looks like you have. Like, you seem so comfortable as a team playing on the TI stage. We don't actually tend to see that with returning TI champs. A lot of times people come back and the pressure to repeat gets to be too much. How have you been able to kind of keep your wits about you as a team?
I mean, it's kind of like home sweet home kind of thing. I think it's the most comfortable place, this booth, like on the TI main stage, where we feel the best. We don't feel as comfortable in scrims. We don't feel as comfortable in other tournaments. I don't know. It's just we had such memorable experiences in this setup. Like, you know, just the 5, the 6 of us. Like, it feels good. Like, once we're sitting there, we're like, finally, we're back here. You know, let's just play some OG Dota. It's nice.
You've said in interviews with me and with other people before that you have such a trust of each other as teammates and that that's what helps you stay in the moment. How have you found that to be working for you here at TI?
I mean, my teammates are the best in the world in every of their positions. So it's more than trust. Like, I have trust for them as teammates, but also as like human beings. I would trust them with daily life stuff. We just trust each other. So we're just close to each other's. So now we know that we're going to face adversity when it comes to this tournament. That it's going to be a very rough couple of weeks. And so then we're ready. This is when you need your friends close to you, and you have to be close to them, and that's what's happening.
And you have definitely been keeping people guessing. So I want to ask you more about that, but hopefully we'll have another chance too later. So best of luck to you guys.
Thank you very much.
We'll talk to you later, Seb. Back to you guys.
Thank you very much. Yes, Seb there with Casey. We're just going to quickly wrap things up. Just a couple of words to summarize that last game, Kat.
OG just looking dominant, and as Casey pointed out, they look very comfortable doing so. The nerves just do not seem to shake them, and TI is the place where everyone gets shooken up.
Final thoughts, bro?
Yeah, a couple words. Just ban IO, ban Mag, ban Ember, ban Monkey King, ban as many heroes as you can. Yep.
Each time, Brian.
I just say clinic. Like, NEWBEE's a good team. They didn't look like it.
No, they didn't. They got made to look very ordinary, didn't they?
Yep.
Thanks very much, gents. Also, thanks to our draft panel. Time for us to move on here. I'm done for today, by the way. That was a very quick day for me. But you'll be in the capable hands of Rich when we come back. First of all, let's catch up with Sir Action Slacks, though, who's with a favourite part of my entire TI experience, the film contest, man.
Yes. Red Eye, it is film contest time. And I know international, it's all about the Dota on the stage, the game. But this is my favorite part. This is about the community. This is a celebration of all of us coming together. So many unique videos coming out this year. We had SFM, live action. We had just everything, claymation. But today, we're going to find out our winners of this year's short film contest. So we're going to walk you through all of our top 10 finalists. And by the end of the day, you'll know who takes that cash home. But for the first batch, we have 3 videos for you. Very fantastic animated features, which each have their own style. So sit back, relax, and enjoy what our fantastic community has made for us this year. Take a look.